Hello, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, another Saturday Night Live Zoom, and we're round the corner from another month gone by.
Yeah.
1 month before Christmas.
Crazy.
It's the time. It's just unreal how quickly it seems it goes. The more we go on in this illusion of time, it's interesting concept. It's can't really comprehend it, but things do seem like they're speeding up nowadays. But it is what it is. We embrace it all.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead, Rana. Take the floor.
Yeah. Things are going well. Today is like, I think, day 34. Eating 1 day a week and enjoying
Nice.
fasting and eating. Yeah, it's great. Tomorrow Sunday is my eating day. And I have 19 people so far coming for dinner, the early dinner. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, lots of food to prepare. Busy. Was busy with that today and tomorrow. Yeah, it's fun, like enjoying both fasting and eating, interacting with family. And my dad came to town 2 days ago, so it's very busy. We see him. We saw him yesterday. Today we took a break. Tomorrow we see him again. Yeah, it's fun. The whole family gets together when he's here, so we get to see each other. My nephews. That's about it. I know. Work is busy. Life is going on like usual. Interesting things here and there. Keep learning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And still releasing a lot of stuff.
Oh.
Regularly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, today I had quite a bit of bile come out, and it was really smelly, really deep. Yeah. Very nice. And of course, mucoid plaque and lots of mucus as well. It's good. I mean, just the smell is great. Although it smells really bad, I like to smell. I like to experience it. That it's coming out of me. Yeah. That's about it. I'm so happy with with the it took me 3 weeks to find the balance, and now it feels very easy. And we'll see how far I can do this for. It doesn't feel like I'm putting any effort, thank God. But of course, there are some days ups and downs, and maybe in the future I might feel like I want to change, of course, and then we'll see. But for now, I like to do it for some time, just to see where that takes me.
Good.
Yeah. To find more balance with it. Yeah. And playing with food, the next day after eating, yeah, of course it's harder, but it's not that bad. Depends what I eat. It's not that bad. And the good thing, eating within like 3 to 4 hours. So I'm not eating all day. I'm making the food, so it's light. I'm not eating all day, so that makes a difference. I used to eat in the past when I did that 1 day a week. I used to eat all day, like 12 hours maybe, and that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah. Like maybe 3 meals, 2 fruit meals, 1 vegetable meal. But that was too much. You're constantly thinking about food for 12 hours. So it's nice to just do it for 3. Okay, I'm done. because I'm full, you know. You get full quickly. And then after a few hours, I drink my tea and then restart the week, you know. Mm, yeah, it's good. It's either this for me or liquidarian. And I'm not sure I want to do liquidarian right now. Yeah. I still love to enjoy um, everything around food, you know, for now. The family aspect and the preparation of the food as well, and experimenting and playing with food for that. Maybe one day. But yeah, I don't like eating more days is maybe too much for me. Yeah. It's just at this point experiencing long master fasts and how amazing I felt. I just don't see how I want to eat more than one day a week. And I did also one day a week for a while, so I would say that's the maximum for me. I just don't see doing more days of eating per week. Mhm. Anybody likes to share?
Yeah, I'm on day 30 today.
Nice.
Awesome.
And that you're talking about release, and oh my God, the stuff that's coming out and the amount, it's almost scary, to be honest with you.
Nice.
And it's Tuesday. I go dry from 6 p.m. to 9 a.m. So a 15-hour dry window. And then I try to keep the look, give or take.
That's a lot of dry.
It is. And Tuesday, I said within 10 minutes of breaking the dry, I was in the toilet for 15 hours,
That's like
right?
the weekly dry?
Yeah, no, that was just the daily. That's just my normal daily. I mean, this stuff was, Gino, I've been telling you about what's been coming out. I mean, from like 9, 10 till midnight, I was in and out of the toilet all day long. This
Wow.
stuff is just freaking releasing, man.
Are you
Got to the point where it's uncomfortable, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it oh yeah,
Can be.
I've been there.
And it's that black, and it's that, what I told you, that black tarry, whatever.
Wow.
Did you drink too fast? Sometimes when I drink too
Oh,
fast, that happens.
You're
No.
taking in a couple liters a day?
yeah,
How many?
a lot. Actually, I've upped it I've backed down on the grape juice a little bit. So I've gone to some lesser juices and a little bit of broth, just trying to slow this down a little bit. And it's not working.
Which juices? Sorry.
Weaker juices.
Oh,
Weaker juices.
Yeah, it's once the floodgates open, it's very difficult for the body to want to stop. I
I
found
can go. I went into a dry for Wednesday, and I did a 40-hour dry, and it stopped it. I mean, it stopped the release anyway. I mean, as soon as I started drinking, it picked right back up. So, it's crazy.
yeah, it's why trying to comprehend it with the mind.
Oh no, I no.
It's just embrace it, and use the tools, support, and then let it go, let it flow. And if it's
Well,
just
I know what I know how to stop. At least I know how to stop it for a day so I can regroup. Just go on a dry and it stops it. It stops the time in the toilet anyway.
yeah. Well, if the time comes, it just gets too overwhelming. What do? We break the fast, and sometimes even when you break the fast, it takes a while.
From the last 30, there was 3 weeks in between these 30 days, and it never stopped. So this has been going on for almost 3 months now.
Yep.
This black junk.
and how are your kidneys?
I haven't had an issue. Not an issue.
Beautiful.
Amazing,
A
yeah.
little bit in the dry. When I get deeper into the dry, I get a little bit.
Yeah, I believe the Colima is really helping.
Yes, absolutely. I missed one day I missed since I got since I started using it. I use it every day. Although I was doing a little too much. Because I can get 6 gallons, which is like 24 liters, into my bucket. I was doing all that at one time. And again, that started to get a little uncomfortable. So I backed it down to 5 or 20 liters, and that's fine.
Yeah. It's the patience, persistent consistency. This is what pays off. It's no single thing or this or that. It's everything. Just doing it can continue and continue and continue and continue.
And I stopped counting days because when I've been counting, oh, I'm on 29 days. I don't care. I just know where I am today because of the Zoom. Other than that, I don't pay attention. I'm not paying attention to it this time.
Yeah.
I'm just going.
Yeah. Hands, you
It's been effortless, except for the toilet. So we'll see.
Yeah. It's simple, huh?
Yes. Yes.
Too simple?
Yeah. No, our Thanksgiving is this Thursday, and I've chosen not to attend it.
Okay.
I don't want to be around. I went to a gathering with my wife's family a couple of weeks ago, and I was okay for a while, but I got a little uncomfortable around the food.
Mhm.
So yeah. Boy, there's a lot of food. Jesus. So I've chosen not to attend this time.
It's interesting when we don't eat and we go to events and we see, oh my God, we do eat a lot of food.
Oh, it's incredible. And everybody's overweight, and if not obese. So whatever. Except, I'll tell you, my brother-in-law, who's 74, I don't know if I mentioned this no, because I didn't, started doing some fasting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, wow. So I steered him toward here. I don't know if he's looked into it or not, but he looks good. I don't know what his reasoning is. We didn't get into it that deep, but I mean, he dropped 40 pounds. He looks really good. All his aches and 74, all his aches and pains are going away. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So I'm getting less strange looks from my wife now. How's that?
Ah, very good.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're not feeling those terrible kidney pains, because this is not fun, man. I've been there. Hopefully, you don't get too much more of that. We don't know until you keep going.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's going to happen, but it's
my goal is still the 108, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Mhm.
For this time around.
Yes. And then the level 6. At least till the spring. We'll see when things start growing again. I don't know. I can't. That's too far to worry about. So
Yeah.
today I'm good.
Yeah.
I think you'll be in control as long as you eat within like a window of 3 max.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm following. What you're very close to. I'm keeping an eye on you, so I want to see how yours pans out for you. Because that's what I want to do.
And never give up. Usually the first time you feel like, okay, you fall off. The first time you eat, but don't fall for that.
Oh no.
No, keep going. Never give up. Especially the first.
That won't be till February, so we'll worry about that.
The first 3 weeks of a lifestyle is always like, you have to learn, but then after that you're fine.
Good. We'll see when we get there.
Yeah.
We never get there. We keep going.
We'll get to that point.
Today, I seen they had some Australian mangoes. Last week, I seen them, and they were $5.99 a pound. This week they were $3.99. I go, let me buy one. They're huge. It was almost $7 for one mango. It was good. It's pretty much a meal. One
Crazy.
mango. But it just shows the prices of stuff has just gone cuckoo.
Well, if you look, I pay attention to a lot of this stuff. If you look around the planet, crop failures are escalating. They are skyrocketing around the planet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the cost of things are just going to keep going up and up and up.
Yeah, because there's less, we got to pay more. You know what I mean?
Crazy, isn't it?
When it's
I wish I could grow fruit.
Yeah.
I don't have the area, or I mean, I would have the time, but I just don't have the area in my yard. It's all dedicated to vegetable.
Yeah.
We're looking for a house in Florida soon, and keep looking at backyards and front yards to see where we can grow stuff. And my husband's really excited already. He's thinking about mango trees. So
Nice.
Nice.
it's kind of a neat place to be in for the sort of first time in our lives like that. And speaking of mangoes, I found that local produce supplier would order me mangoes, and so for my family and sometimes for myself. But yeah, I got these Nam Dak Mai mangoes, which I'd heard about on certain fruit channels I follow, and you just feel so blessed to try something that's so delicious. And so they were a nice treat, and they're not it's not mango season per se, so these are really good. Anyways, it's great because I ordered them and I was able to go pick them up. So
Nice.
and here in Florida, also I've been able to get to try some unique fruits like sugar apples and cherimoyas that were actually ripe because I tried it before and it wasn't any good. But and they're so special when you taste these things. It's so incredible. And even you just treasure it. You don't want to throw the seeds out. I've saved the seeds, and who knows what we'll do with them in the future. So yeah, that's a neat little experience here.
That's awesome. Yeah, then that's a priority, you know, to look for a good backyard and front yard.
Yeah.
You know?
People do weird things to them too when you're looking at property. You see a giant swimming pool and no grass, and or just cobblestones or cement covering the backyard. And I'm thinking, how much does it cost to get that whole thing dug up and have some dirt put back there? Or even when you look at just lot size too, you look at, why is there so much house on that small piece of land? Just give me less house, please.
That's what they do these days.
Bigger house.
Yeah.
Condos.
Yeah. It's really, yeah. It doesn't seem to be changing. There's some people that are doing different things, but it's hard because houses are what they are and they're so big. You can't necessarily go have one custom built. So.
Very expensive unless you're your own contractor and you have a lot of connections. It's still expensive. The prices of materials have gone crazy.
Yeah. It's interesting too to think about what people can afford, and are they really affording it, or is it just an illusion that they're paying for? And I feel like a lot of it is something you're paying into for something and you're not getting in return what you think you're going to get.
Yeah, like up here, people are mortgaged to the hilt, and any movement in the interest upwards, people will lose homes. It's they won't be able to afford it because most people are just living paycheck to paycheck because that's what people do. They consume, and it's never enough.
Did you see what happened in Chile?
No.
It was like 3 weeks ago. They raised the cost on the public transportation. It was on a Friday morning. Within 12 hours, there were hundreds of thousands of people in the streets.
Wow.
It collapsed that fast. One little thing, one little rise, like you're talking, because everybody's so overextended. And I just saw it today. I mean, it's getting crazy down there. Molotov cocktails they're throwing at the police. And they're burning. The guy's on fire. I'm like, holy shit. And that was the most stable country in South America.
Wow. Yeah, well, this is the thing, you know, people got to rise and stand for their rights.
Yeah.
Otherwise they don't have any. It's,
Well, because nobody can afford anything anymore.
yeah.
So one little, and who knows what that trigger is anywhere on in any society. Nobody knows what that trigger is. For them, it was the transportation. Iran just did this. It had the same thing happen in Iran, and that was gas price. They went up 50% of the gas prices. They took to the streets. I mean, nobody anywhere on the planet can afford anything anymore.
It's tough. It's tough. When you live lifestyle less is more,
Yeah.
expenses are so low. You can do anything anywhere. You don't have to worry about all that crap. You know, just fast more.
Fast through the winter and grow my stuff in the summer. I'm fine.
The solution's pretty simple. That, you know, it takes time to I don't know, it's the word, evolved, so the body can, the mind can accept and work with less. But one day at a time, we get there.
Steve, do you save the seeds as well, like your seeds? Do you
Oh, yeah.
save, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So you just keep growing with the same seeds. That's awesome. So you don't.
If I get a variety or cultivar I like, I'll save the seeds. And I stopped buying the junk set. I've been buying all the heirloom stuff for a couple of years now.
So you can be kind of self-sustained in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the food.
Absolutely.
Or you give most of it away, right?
In the big garden, yeah. Even here, I grow way too much in my own yard.
Yeah, when you
gave it. I mean, I mentioned the other day I grew more than 2,000 pounds. I gave 2,000 pounds away. That's what I gave to the, in my little area, and we're less than 2 acres, and a bad season, and I was able to supply them with over a ton of good stuff. But if we just grew our own stuff, like I believe, if we just grew our own stuff, no more hunger.
Yeah, there's tons of land everywhere. Yeah, they've shown there's lots of stuff you go on YouTube or whatever and watching what people are doing with small pieces of land and growing tons of food.
Yeah.
So it's all possible.
There was something neat. It may have been in Chile or Ecuador. I can't remember which country, but there was a housing development built called Half Houses, where instead of the government giving people in need a place to live with no investment, they gave them a house that was essentially half finished, and then the new homeowners could then decide when they wanted to finish it, how they wanted to finish it, and to live within their means at the same time as well. It was really interesting. Kind of like the idea of an unfinished basement.
Yeah. I don't think it was Chile, not right now.
I'm not sure.
Probably Ecuador.
Yeah, maybe so.
Although he just got thrown out too, didn't he? Maduro, he's in Cuba now, I believe. From Mexico.
Yeah.
Happy to say good day
Hi.
from Australia.
Good day.
Good day. How's everybody?
Good.
It's nice to move into December now. I'm just very excited because we're going to season change again. And I love season change. I'll be dry fasting on Christmas Day. I've already told my parents and everyone. I said on my own spiritual day, and I'm dry fasting. And I just think it's just an incredible gift and grace you can have to have that decision. So I'm looking forward to that, and then looking forward to December, and I'm looking forward to 2020. It's going to be amazing, truly amazing. Definitely feel more inward, more deeper. Things are speeding up. So when you guys are talking about the stuff going on around the world, in a way, you know, that speeds up just as much as the other side speeds up as well, which is balance. I think you talk about, you know, you got to have that balance, and people suffer through this, you know, with all these changes and the systems breaking down and all that sort of stuff. But it takes you to a place of going inward for a lot of these people, you know, like to really, because that's the only place you can go to, and to find those answers and to, you know, journey through that. So it's everywhere. You're right, Steve. It's happening everywhere. It only takes one trigger, and then off, and that's all it takes. So yeah, but I think for us, we're pretty living the less is more lifestyle is definitely the way to go. The art of subtraction, and it's just wonderful.
Well,
I'm not speaking. Yeah, yeah. Go
I
ahead,
think
Steve.
you see the humanity beginning to awaken. That's all this is.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
I don't recall any period in history where it was on such a global scale.
Yeah.
It was everywhere,
No, well, yeah, exactly right.
everywhere at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is. It is. And spiritually, we kind of know it's happening, so we are awake.
Oh yeah.
So if we're so awake, and we're spiraling inwards more than anything than before, and those limitless possibilities are definitely happening now. So it depends what realm you want to be in, you know, what choice you want, and where you want to sit, because there's just so many choices we can take, and just falling on a particular realm that you want to sit in, and be there for people that when you need to help them, like what you do, Steve. You know, you give so much to what you do with that planning and everything that you do. It's incredible. The gift of giving. It's fantastic, you know.
It's amazing what comes back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It certainly is. It certainly is. But I'm going well. I'm still master fasting. Love it. It's definitely my world. It's definitely the way my roadmap, and opens up so many doorways. I can't think of a better way to actually live. You know, just you know, you have no relationship or meaning with food anymore. It's really interesting because I like hearing you guys talk about food and mangoes and all this sort of stuff, and I just have there's nothing there. There's no relationship. There's no wanting to have it. There's no, I see the vision of it. You know, you see the vision of food, and you think it's, you know, it's beautiful. You love it, but in the physicality, there's just absolutely no desire. There's no desire. There lots of desire to chase field strength, and you know, make sure that you know, you look after that sort of area more so, create the energy, and you know, work on energy and how you can, you know, move stuff around. So no, it's such a different world when you're I don't know, more towards leaning that way of living. It's just a different place. Oh my God, you never know until you experience it. You never know until you experience this. It's wonderful. Every single part of it is just absolutely delightful. And I think if you do a long one, Steve, which you probably know, and you know, people like to do those long digestive rests, which is it's just wonderful. There is a transformation that happens through you know, the different cycles of doing a long one. You know, your 30, 60, 90 kind of days, you know, and the dry fasting, which is the power. I'm just sort of reflecting back on my 108 for you, is when you stick to the dry fasting schedule, you know, daily, weekly, and monthly, it's those 3 days dry fast that you prepare for cleaning your GI tract and having that so pristine that you don't realize how quick those shifts happen, because the mind and the physicality can't catch up with what's actually happening from the limitless realms. So it happens very, very fast. It's not actually really, oh, my body can take it, or I'm, physically okay. Yeah, I can handle a 3-day dry fast, or even a season change dry fast. It's actually what happens is that what's being realized for me is that when you go into these dry fasting situations, it's the energies. Can you handle the energies, or know what to do with the energies, and surrender and trust into those energies when they come about? Because that's the area where I feel like is not really spoken about, or not really known about as much. And when you go longer and longer in this journey, you realize that area is just something of the unknown, because you experience so many different new emotions that you don't experience before. So it's a whole new world and a whole new ball game. You go into these levels, and that's why, when you build up to it, and keep going, it's a 108's a piece of cake, really. When you look at it, like how I see it from now, it's really just a touch, like what Gino has said before previously. You just basically open the door, and that's it. And then what you do with that key that you get afterwards is what really happens. And if anyone ever does a 108, you can never ever go back. I really truly believe that, because when you open up these portals of energy and stuff that comes through, it's very, very challenging to live a balanced type of lifestyle. So it's I always say to people, just touch and taste it on a 40-day. You can always touch and taste it on a 40-day long digestive rest, or 60-day maybe. But yeah, just sort of really feel those energies and see if you really like them. And can you go through the emotional turmoil? So can you go through the stuff that's coming up to the surface, and the mirror of truth that comes up? So much mirror of truth comes up, it never stops. Or you would know that, hey, Gino, like it just never, it would never ever stop. That stuff.
Yeah, and this is the challenge. So many people have gone through these, and coming out the other end, they've not enough homework, not enough planning, not enough focus, and venting it. What are you going to get with an event? It's going to go away, and
Yeah.
you're going to be back to where you were.
Yeah.
Or worse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The emotional turmoil does come also when we're eating. So it's not just when fasting, but it's also when we're eating we have emotional turmoil. Maybe
because you're suppressing.
We're not aware of it as much as when we're fasting, but I believe we're always going through emotional things. I would say more so when we're eating, and as we clean more and more, we become more aware of them, we observe them, and then slowly we start getting, letting them go. It takes time. But yeah, I believe they're always there. It's not scary to fast, like the emotions. I don't think it's scary. I would say it's maybe worse to be eating every day, for sure, in terms of emotions. Like, because you have like almost no choice when you're eating. You don't know any better, but when you start fasting, you know better. There is a way out of the emotional imbalance.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're definitely right, Rani. Emotions are definitely more balanced when you're fasting. Definitely so. Yeah, you're able to see things a lot more easier, and compared to when you're eating, because the emotions come up, and you've got to deal with. I can't even refer to my break, but you become into dense matter stuff. So you come into the matter world, and you become obstructed. So you're dealing with a lot more. Stuff. Yeah.
I feel like it's you have to find your balance, of course, as well. Big changes can be too much sometimes. Big changes can be so much, in my opinion. So I believe it's good to also take your time and allow the emotions to balance as well. You can balance while eating. Some people find balance while eating. It's not deep, but and you can find your balance while fasting. You have to find your balance, for sure. You have to find your balance, and then things are a little bit calmer, and then slowly you can go deeper.
Well, yeah, from what people have shown is the massive metamorphosis is, I don't know what's the word. It's just too much for people to comprehend and accept,
Too
I
fast.
guess, because it happens so fast during a long digestive vacation, and they're just not ready and prepared, even though they say they are. The emotion is just
Yeah.
not ready,
Usually they're not.
and that's why for most people it would be better to do it with baby steps. Pick one of the levels 2-3 days a week and go with that,
Go deeper slowly.
and see how you are after 6 months to a year. And if you're emotionally ready after you've done all your homework, then you can go for a long digestive vacation and be very well prepared to go back to a higher level of
Or just go right away to a higher level, like instead of taking a long vacation. Just keep going further, slowly.
Yeah,
Take your time over the years.
No, but the long digestive vacations are crucial and very important. Completely staying away from digestion. Even 1 day a week, you're still eating, you're digesting, and it's not the same as a long digestive vacation. The real profound magic happens in the long digestive vacations, specifically, of course, the dry fast, where that plasma vacuum tube is empty, and that's something that I don't see many comprehend. After.
Yeah, but I really don't see the necessity of making a huge change.
There's not a necessity to fast. Most people don't fast, and they never will. So
I feel gradual is fantastic. I feel.
Yeah, but I'm not one for gradual. I jump in. I have to jump in. I love those massive changes.
Yeah, me too. I'm a bit like you, Gino, in that way, for sure. Because like when you're ready and you're passionate about something, like Steve, you just want to jump. You just want to go. Not for everybody, but people's different personalities are different. Yeah.
But remember, jump in or not jump in. Okay.
Yeah.
There's lifestyle and there's not lifestyle.
Jumping into the lifestyle, like I said
Jumping
many times.
into a lifestyle like level 7, great.
Yeah.
Jumping, great, but it's huge. Like I'm not.
Yeah, as long as
I'm not
people.
Sure it's great for for most people.
No, of course not. No. And plus, people have to know what they're doing. So you've got to take that personal responsibility. So if you're not doing the homework, looking at all that, going through, all that stuff. If I didn't do any of that, this isn't,
happen.
I wouldn't have known. I wouldn't have known about cravings. I wouldn't have known about so much stuff. But personal responsibility. Go hard if you want to do it. Don't.
Yeah. So whatever you choose, lifestyle. If it's not a lifestyle, I just don't see, because it's hard to go back to a.
Yeah, it is.
It's harder to go back to a lower level. So let's say I'm doing 108 days of level 7. It's really hard to go back to level 6 even, because the body doesn't like it. So whatever you do, in my opinion, it's not about jumping. It's about choosing your lifestyle. That's how I always saw it, actually, since I finished my first 108 days, which is over 4 years ago now. So this is how I see it. Lifestyle. I just don't see it any other way. You want to go deeper, you have to go to a higher level. It's that simple, in my opinion.
Yeah, you keep expanding. 3 decades ago, fasting. Wow. Okay, this is my lifestyle. It's part of my life. Done. And never look back. Continue. Expand, contract, expand, extract with it. It's always continuous.
Be gentle, be loving to yourself, and make sure you're just balanced.
I hooked up to the season changes. There was something magical about the season changes.
Yes.
Back.
Yeah.
And there is.
Yeah.
Continue doing it and you'll see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is. It's something very magical about season changes. Oh, it's fantastic.
It keeps you in that loop of looking forward to that time frame. So you continue doing it, and so
Yeah,
Never
it's a big
stop.
change. It's a big change.
No.
The environment when it changes.
But-
It's a big change. Has a big impact on us from summer to fall to winter.
Depends what people are on their path. Now, like you don't know what they've had in the background or what's going on behind or where they've come from, their genetics. There's just so much in play. It's a person's got to make their own decision, really.
Right. We can't try and
You
analyze
can't,
it
no.
intellectually. It's not going to happen, not going to work.
No.
But from, guiding thousands of people, we've seen that most people are best situation for most people is do a gradual thing.
Even for me, I mean, honestly, like
Mm.
I wanted to do level
Everything
7
is
in the
gradual.
past, and I did it for a while, but I came off it, and again, it was not easy. So I decided there were moments where I thought I want to do level 7 again, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have to do it. I don't have to. I'm not ready. I love it. I love eating too. I love fasting. I love eating. Of course, I love fasting more. That's why I do it 6 days a week and eating 1 day a week. Um, I don't see it as bad at all. Sure, a little bit obstructive, but just watch what you're doing and not eating all day when you're eating. So yeah, enjoy whatever you do. There's no one way for everyone. We enjoy whatever lifestyle. Everybody knows where they're at. Everybody knows whether they are ready to move to a huge change or not, because it's big. Whatever you choose, it's gonna be big. Like even 2 days a week is change, and eating 5 days a week within 3 hours, that's a huge change for the average person.
The two
So
big things that I see are the one people that come to solve a problem,
yeah,
a physical
so
problem.
that's like an event,
And most of those people, they don't stick
last.
around, they don't last. Because that's what they're used to doing, going from one thing to another thing to another thing to solve all their problems. And they keep scattering themselves all over the place and mixing this, that, and the other, making a minestrone, as we call it in Italian, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And just throw everything in there. So without that sharp focus,
Of what you want to go on.
There's infinite ways you can make this thing work for you, this lifestyle, infinite.
Mm-hmm.
And that only you're going to be able to express and embrace and thrive on it. We can't tell you that. Like 108 days, yeah, I believe everybody should go for 108 days. But what are you going to do after? We keep saying the same thing. What are you going to do after? Oh yeah, it's always the same thing. They're trying to solve something. And
yeah, that's why we are really now emphasizing encouraging
now,
the lifestyle
when we let go of the physicality, throw it out the window, leave it aside because it's always there. It's not gonna go away until we leave the body. Then we start diving deep within the abyss of soul. Then everything changes. Everything changes. You can't even talk to anybody else because they don't have no clue until you start getting into that and start working with the fields and so on and so forth. And that's really what I love about fasting. The physicality things, yeah, they're all around us. It's all over the place. But the beauty and why people will want to continue is always about the spiritual side, the soul side.
Yep.
The physicality stuff, we can keep talking about it forever, like we keep saying.
It's all connected at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, you go on, the most popular pages are the food pages. It's got hundreds of thousands of people on these food pages. Okay, how many more meals is it going to take to satisfy you? That's the question. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So, that's why you have to find that place of balance with the fasting and the eating. no matter how many days that is per week. And once you start loving whatever you're at, you start um, tapping more and more into the soul, and then that part starts growing, and because you're nurturing it, and then it starts you start expanding more and more and more, and you start wanting to open up the fasting more and more and more and more. And that's the way I see it. You know, the jumping in 108 days, it's not going to work for most people. That's what they've shown us. Will that change over time? I don't know. Maybe it will, as consciousness of all of us expands and we keep feeding the realm of the plasma, the, and so people can dip in and take what they need, receive what they need, because the flow is infinite and it's always there. It's never stagnant. The plough from the divine, it doesn't stop flowing. It continuously gives and continuously creates. And when we tap into that and do the same, because it's based on that principle of how the universe operates, you go into the unknown places of magic that starts becoming expressed, and that's the beauty. And this is why we see what we see when people jump into this type of lifestyle. It has nothing to do with the physicality stuff, nothing at all. We can talk about the food stuff, and we do. It's fine.
It's all connected, though. We cannot really separate them. Somewhere.
No, because we're in this realm to feel, taste, touch, blah blah blah.
And as we clear our physical body, we're connecting to the divine more. I mean, it's known in every religion. Some more than others, but yeah, as we clear, it's spiritual. It's spiritual. It does connect you more to God. And imagine you do it for longer, you're definitely going to connect more. And you're definitely, you're gonna, you're clearing your pipes more. So it's all connected, and emotions as well. It's all connected. But and then everybody has to find their way, their balance. We have all these options for everyone to choose from, and enjoy. This is life. And at the end of the day, it's all about joy and loving what we're doing, loving ourselves, and loving other people as well.
But it's such a beautiful experience when you are connected to the divine, and that magnetic pull happens. It's if you're not aware, it's very hard to pull back from it, and that's where I think people may have to struggle, because once you have a taste of this sort of stuff, it's very delightful. You know what I mean? It's very over consuming and just so beautiful, and you realize how much of better service you can actually be more powerfully. So it's the pull's there, the magnetic pull's there. Once you enter into that space of the spiritual fasting of it, it is a spiritual journey. It really is, more than anything else, as everyone knows here. So the 108 does do that, and that's why you have the miraculous, the miraculous from the soul. Like it just things fix up in your body that you don't even realize it was even needed to be fixed up. And you go, what's that? And it still continues. And I see myself changing all the time. Like I just go, just goes into a place of complete possibilities. That's where you're entering into all this world where then you go, hey, oh, well, then I've got a bit of a response. You realize you've got some responsibility now in that, and that's where you realize that you can't go back sometimes when you feel that responsibility. Once you have that taste of it, you already have knowledge and information, and then you go, oh, okay, I can't really 100% go back, and that's where the struggle happens, I feel, because you can't be lukewarm. You could be densed out, and you're right. You don't know because you don't know any information, or you can keep going and develop and go deeper and deeper and deeper. But if you stay in the lukewarm area, you pretty much nearly get spit out, like in that thing, because you've got information, you've got knowledge, but you're not actually, still going deeper and deeper into that stuff. It's sort of like you've been given something, but what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with that information booklet that's inside of you? You never have to read again. You never have to do any of that stuff again. It's just all in there for you. Everything, every piece of knowledge and information you can tap into, no matter what it is, what you want to create or what you want to do, be. It's just all there. It's then it's quite amazing. So yeah, just the 108 or doing longer ones. This is something you get entered into, and even if I don't know if you have to be energetically open or energetically open. I think if you are more energetically open, you'll feel and taste it more. But if you're not so much, you're still going to have a taste of it. There's something going to happen, and that's where they say the light's too bright for people, so they retract back. Because the mirror of truth and all that stuff is just way, like for people that aren't energetically open, it's way too much. So sometimes it's better for them to take it a little bit slow with the, are you emotionally stable? Are you mentally strong? Those sort of things before you enter in, because it's it's worth the journey. It's definitely worth the journey. If you're going to be here for another 50 years or whatever on this planet, you've got the whole time to maneuver into that sort of space and be a conscious contributor to this planet for sure. I love it, Gina. It's freaking amazing. Every day I wake up, every day, every single day. I don't care what anyone says to me. It's tough, but it's worth it. But every day I wake up, I just love it so much. It's just so incredible. Like, how else would I live? There is no other way. I got what I wanted. My intimate relationship with the divine. I put that was the intention. And you get what you want. You get what you want. Your wish is your command, for sure. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it's
Hello, I've got all these lots of people here.
we call on all the 108 dayers. Where are you? Let's see where you're at. There's some of them that regret doing 108 days. What does that tell you? I don't know.
Not really. I think very few people.
There's a few.
You get the blame, Gina. You get the blame.
I got feedback. But it just shows you the understanding of allowing is not there. They're closed up to the mirrors of truth of what's actually happening.
Let me tell you.
They're not doing their homework.
I believe 108 is a big change. It's a big change.
It's massive.
It's just a big change. The majority of us, we don't know. It's a big change. It's so easy to fast. It's not easy to go back to eating. And find your balance after a long fast, because you're going lower. And in my opinion, it's best to go up, not to go down. So I would say slow down and start at your pace, and keep going. And over the years, develop, go wherever you want. You want to stay where you are, or you want to go higher.
We've just talked about that.
Yeah, I don't believe it's good to just jump in and do 108 days. I just don't believe.
I believe it's amazing for people who are ready.
Yeah, but ready for what?
Ready for the lifestyle.
Lifestyle of what? We spoke about this many times before, and I don't believe it's. I don't know any human being who has done 108 days, who thinks it's easy afterwards. It's not easy.
Nobody says easy.
Yeah. So why do you have to make it that difficult? Just allow.
Life is an effort. Everything in life is an effort. So anything worth doing is worth working for. Like what's the terminology there? Anything grand it's worth putting the effort into it, and the payback is tremendous. But like look at the newer generations of people, not to put them down or anything, but the way that everything's been programmed to us is instant gratification of everything.
And that's why 108 days is not
working for something. Yeah. No, I want it now. I'm not going to work for that. So that's the mentality out there. That's what's been fed. The lies have been fed. And that's what everybody is trapped in, that freaking bullshit illusion. It's bullshit. Bullshit. I know everything's possible. Can we work to get to that state? Yeah, but we have to have the understanding at the soul level to get to those places, not in the physical crap.
Yeah, but how can you do that? That takes time. It takes practice.
It takes
And you
practice of connecting to spirit. That's all it is.
Yeah. So you develop yourself slowly. You connect yourself slowly. That's how I see it. Unless you're really ready to give up food, then sure. But
You know, hey, yeah, I was going to say, hey, I was actually going to say, most of us people out here, I don't know, I bought my own first car. You know what I mean? I had to work for it, had to do the effort for it, I had to pay for it, and I had to fix it myself. You know, if it broke down, I remember I used to do reverse hill starts, and it's an effort. It's an effort. But when you actually do something, you earn the money, you do it, you go through that process, you actually do it for yourself, like even doing a university degree, and you do it for you, you actually do it. No one else gives it to you. There's such a satisfaction in that. There's a massive, massive satisfaction in it. Like I wouldn't want my, you know, looking back on it, you know, if my parents bought me a car and it wouldn't be as satisfying as me going and working my butt off and going and get my own car and actually tinkering with it and doing my own oil changes. And I couldn't afford to go get it serviced. So I had to do it myself. And the tyre always used to blow up. I used to change my own tyres on the side of the road. Like I enjoy it. I mean, we don't have to do that now because cars are different, but it's just all that. And going to university, I pay for my own university degree. I pay for my own hairdressing apprenticeship. I pay for everything myself, and there is a reward and a satisfaction through doing that because it makes you to be self-reliant, self-responsible, self-everything when you go through that. And then, like when you come to a journey like this, you know. You draw on every part of your life experience that you have for something like this. You draw on everything, all your experiences that you have, and that's when God gives you that stuff and says, here, you've had all these experiences, people, or whatever you've done. Let's draw on the times when it was really tough. Let's draw on that and go deeper in that. And when you do that, you actually I thanked God so much and my divine so much. I said, oh my God, thank you for giving me every single freaking struggle, you know, every single part, because there's no way in the world it would take me longer. You know, it would probably literally take me longer in the journey, I think, because I wouldn't have been tough. I think everyone's different, you know, everyone's different and everyone's got to go at their own pace. And you're right, Rana, you know, you've got to allow that process to happen. I mean, I could be wrong and right, but I don't know. It doesn't matter if it is or not. Yeah. It's just what it is. It is what it is. At the end of the day.
Yeah, the inner journey of self-discovery. This is all it is. We're not, you know, we have a way now, a roadmap that allows people to profoundly take charge and start learning how to connect to spirit. It's very powerful, very potent. Like, from my understanding and from all my experiences, it never happened with me with food. And I don't see it happening out there with anybody else eating, no matter what they're saying. So we don't have all the answers, but you know, everybody has all the answers for themselves when they start diving deep into the abyss of soul.
But we have to give credit to shorter fasts. Even intermittent fasting, people are finding it amazing.
Of course.
So of course, if you're gonna fast for 2 days a week, you're gonna find it even better. And intermittent fasting when you're eating.
But we need to allow and express getting into the longer and longer and longer and longer ones, because you're only going to go so far with short fasts. Even if you're doing 6 days a week for a long period of time, if you're eating 1 day a week, until you let that one meal go for a long time and have that long digestive rest, it's two different things. It's two different things.
Yeah, you have to be open though that you might not like food so much anymore. Yeah. Or you might not have a great. You might not have a great relationship with the food anymore.
Because your senses are wide awake, and the food goes in, and you're going, "What the hell's this?" And people are upset because they didn't expect it. They weren't mentally prepared to have that.
Yeah.
And they think there's something wrong because they've never felt that before. Their senses were always numbed out from the day they were born. They were already numbed out because the mother's eating food. So to come to a new level with the plasma vacuum
They
tube,
enjoyed it when they ate their mom's food.
to come to a new level, to come with the plasma vacuum tube empty and working exclusively on fields, it's a whole nother realm. How do you explain that to somebody who eats? You can't. You can't. And it scares people. It literally scares people to have an empty plasma vacuum tube. I've seen it.
Gino, 108 days is easy. It's easy.
Yeah, it's not easy.
How
for
many
everybody.
of us have done it?
It's not easy.
Some
for everybody.
some of us
There's
here have
people
done
who-
it more than two.
Yeah, for the most part, it's
So-
easy. It's
getting-
simple to do for
Getting
people.
into it the first 3
It's
days.
the eating that's difficult.
Exactly. So,
Because of what I'm just explaining. The senses have opened up to a level that they
So it's not
never had that experience, and it's not comfortable because nobody's taught it, nobody's understood it, nobody is ready for it,
yeah.
and they want that numbness feeling back, so they go back to food, and it's oh, what's this, and their senses are fighting with them because they're fighting it, they're resisting the change
What
of
I'm saying.
living on the fields versus matter. It's two different things. And I don't know how to put it in words. You have to go through the experience. There's people arguing, oh, I'll never do a long one again. Okay, don't do one, man. Who cares? It's not my problem. It's your, it's your responsibility to take a hand.
So it's not about letting go of the food, right? It's not about letting go of the food. The first 3 weeks, any lifestyle you do is hard.
The food is relevant.
Okay, it's not about people are not can't let go of the food. It's not about that at all. But it's about not
tapping into a realm of mirror of truths where the senses are wide open and people are not ready for it. That's the way I see it. They're not ready for that state of being. It's a completely different state, eating versus non-eating. It's two different states.
I understand. But people have not signed up to give up food after 108 days.
But we didn't tell people to stop eating food.
It's not easy, though. It's not easy. This is what I'm saying. To go back to eating food, to go back to a lower level is hard. And so I don't suggest it. If you don't want to give up food, you're going to go through a really tough time. The fast itself is easy. Now, if you want to go through an adventure and go for a long fast and experience like deep connection to God and like being empty physically and feeling lighter and feeling physically better and stuff, sure. But just be aware that it's not going to be fun to go to a lower level after. It's just, you have to be very, very prepared if this is your first time doing a long fast. That's it. It's not about everybody wants to connect. Everybody wants to connect.
Some people want to be in that numbed out state. And I'll put up my hand first because we want to be in that numbed out state because so much is going on. We want to be in that numbed out physical pain state because the emotional mirrors of truth are so profound and powerful. We are not ready to let them go. That's all it is. That's all it is. No matter how much we want to deny it and everything, that's what happens. So, until we're really ready to take charge of that and let it all go and flow, it's not going to happen. And we're going to continue to eat. And then the ones who go on these long digestive vacation, go back to food and they're moaning, bitching, and complaining. What does that show you? It shows you that they're not ready for that state of being. That's all for me. That's the way I understand it, is if I can put it in proper words. It's nobody's better than anybody else or anything. It's just the experiences we've all chosen to take in this realm, and we're all going to go through different paths, and there's no two paths are going to be alike. This is we look at the masses as the sheep being herded, and here's Little Master Fast with a bunch of people going the opposite way completely, and everybody's individual doing their own thing, and all individual. Whereas the program, sheeple, are all doing the same basic thing.
They
There's
don't
a-
know better.
There's no individual experiences. If you talk to most people out there, it's a tape recorder of what you can talk to them about, of what they watched on TV or this or that or the other thing, or what they've learned in school. When you're in this realm here, the fasting realm, you're getting profound different experiences from the soul, from each individual, a different expression. Even though it's all under one umbrella, it's all individualized.
You know, some people would do what it takes to change, to feel better.
Yeah.
I think these people are the ones who are sick and tired of feeling sick and tired. I've been there, you know, and that's why I came first to raw food. I mean, doing raw food from a standard diet, that's a huge change, you know. So I believe many of us felt sick and tired of feeling sick and tired and decided, okay, you know what, there are other options maybe, so let me try. And so we try and you know, we do them. Sometimes we do 108 days, and then we're amazed by the transformation. And that really teaches us a lot. Even though if we don't stop, you know, we don't stop eating it, we have learned a lot from just this experience. And maybe we're not ready for lots of fasting. You know, it's very important to have a structure. Definitely, it's very important. Like, and that's why I thought this, having the 7 levels, is very important, because I don't want, you know, it's heartbreaking to see people lost, you know. So have a little bit of a protocol, just like we have with the master fast. So a little bit of a protocol of what to do after, so you're not like, because it's hard, we know it's challenging, so just to help you out, or just, you know, start with them, you know, without doing 108. I believe the whole journey, honestly, is about self-love and self-respect. And we want to sit down with ourselves and decide. I mean, it's beautiful that we are here all sharing our experiences, different levels, because we're all learning from each other and we're inspiring each other. Doing it alone, maybe you don't get as much inspiration. But doing it together, you know, we share. I mean, I love to hear from every single person here. You know, what are you doing? How are you? It would be nice for everybody to talk and share how you're feeling, because that helps you. I believe it has so much to do with self-love and self-respect. And many of us are just so busy. We're so busy with our lives. It's like a cycle. It's like a cycle. I have to do this. I have this. I have this. I have that. You know, that's great. Keep your priorities, you know, the way you want them, but make sure that you're doing what you want to do, you know, in your life. Make sure that you're not just trapped, you know, and going with whatever is happening. Just sit down and ask yourself, is this what I want? And you're not going to find all the answers just like that in one day. As you keep going, you will learn more. As you keep going, many answers will come to you, and you will find the best path for you. So you know, never give up. Give it 3 weeks to start somewhere, and be as loving to yourself as possible, because it's hard the first 3 weeks, maybe more than 3 weeks sometimes, you know, maybe 2 months. It's hard. It's not easy. So you will have to love yourself more. You have to make an effort to love yourself more. Now I'm going to be more gentle on myself. I don't want to deal with this and this and that, and you know, just simplify your life a little bit. Maybe don't go out as much with your friends and things that are not important for you. Maybe say no to them. Yeah.
People feel like they're missing out when they stop doing these things because they're so used to them. These are all stimulants.
Yeah.
You know, anything, you know, socializing, this, that, social media, going out to eat, this, that, and the other thing, whatever.
Just so busy.
It's all stimulants.
It keeps us so occupied.
It's big changes, big change. That's why I like to say change everything from A to Z. Can it be done all at once? No, most people are going to do it in a structured way, systematic way, one thing at a time. But That's what it's going to end up being. You're going to look back in 5 years. Holy gee, nothing's going to be the same anymore. Nothing will be the same. Like when I look back 3 decades ago, my goodness gracious, was that even me? You know, never mind.
I mean, you know, still your sister is your sister. You know. So you might have, but the way you perceive things, I guess, the way you see things might be different. But yeah, you know, it's you don't have to change absolutely everything. Slowly, take your time.
You can't change your sister from being your sister.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But mostly what I'm talking about is the intellectual physicality stuff. We're going to be changing the materialism things.
Yeah.
Start letting go of things. Start changing things around. Start doing things differently. You know, the master fast system is about self-love, taking care of yourself, skin brushing, doing enemas. It's self-love over and over and over. Doing your ritual of your tinctures and tea. It's a ritual of self-love. You know, preparing all that. Sipping on your juice. These are all rituals of self-love. You know, cooking a food and eating or going to a restaurant, picking up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what's that? That's no self-love. Anybody can do that. This is a systematic way to start loving yourself more and more and more and taking care of yourself. You know, if we did a survey, how many people actually spend time on themselves each day? It's very minimal. You know, brushing their teeth, taking a shower, done. That's the part of their ritual or whatever. You know what I mean? So this is, you know, to do the Master Fast system fully or hybrid or whatever, you have to set a certain amount of time a day, 1 to 2 hours a day. You have to spend on yourself. That's a lot of time for some people. You know, I'm doing an exercise routine with that. You know, you'll push it more to 2 hours or maybe more. So, you know, coming on Zoom, that's part of it. How much, you know, once a week we're doing that, right? So that's another part that you're adding into your self-love, taking care of yourself, being on a place where there's other souls in the same mental frame of things and that you can relate with. So it will only help you and encourage you and inspire you. You're gonna go out there all on your own, which I've done. It's a whole different story. But you know, like I'm seeing it from 3 decades ago and today. Today, the support system is more crucial than ever because of the overstimulation and distractions that are in our modern societies. It's so fast paced. It's just a whole different place than it was even 10 years ago. Then you look 20 years and then three decades ago, we didn't have no cell phones, this, that. Just think about those times if you were in that time. You know, how do we do things? When we look at what we're doing now, like how do we exist with all these supposedly wonderful things? And these things are all wonderful. They're all beautiful tools. You know, the computer, the internet, and so on, they're beautiful tools. But with any tool, you can use it 2 ways, right? You can use it to bring imbalance or you can use it to bring balance. It's up to you, for your free will.
And as we change, if we go back to our old way, it's okay. We're not going to be perfect at changing. Nobody's perfect at changing. It's okay to go back, but realize that, okay, no, this is not what I want. And be loving to yourself and gentle. I mean, there is a reason why you did it. You probably, maybe, you know, you're not giving yourself enough time and enough love, you know, and so you feel off a little bit. It's okay. Stimulations are still there, you know. And, you know.
Yeah, look at Hans. He grew a new set of wings. All kinds of stuff happens.
Yeah.
So who else wants to inspire us?
Yeah, it would be nice for everybody here to speak a little bit how they're doing, and yeah, join us.
Jump in when you're ready. Still,
yeah, the wind's still. Oh, I've got to turn it off.
There you go.
I've just been outside doing some work. But
I think.
Let me get out of here.
You have your phone on?
Yeah, I just got to try to turn it off.
Yeah, that's where you're getting the
Oh
echo.
yeah, two of them.
That's it. That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look. Yeah, the wings are gone. Yeah. I can only come from the same as I always do, and that's environment and outlook and society.
Yeah.
And how can you change on your own? And as you said, with how many 108 days have seen the light, overwhelmed, and then can't get away from where they're at. They're not willing. Remember, extreme events cause extreme outcomes.
Yeah.
108 days is an extreme event. And the outcome, when you have to reconciliate the outcome against your existing environment, that's when people just give up. Not willing to give up what's surrounding them. What surrounded them is what got them in the first place to fast. From a health point of view, a lot of people sick, a lot of people have issues. So they get away from it. And then there's a solution, which is overwhelming and over like too much and too quick when you do 108. And if they would actually think that right through, then there's only one way of sticking with what made you better. The power intelligence that made us is the power intelligence that heals us. Why is that so hard to understand? Probably not. But the consequences to reconciliate against your existing environment, against society, who's willing to take that on? Who's willing to go and quit his job because it's in an environment which highly is contradictory to an enlightenment that you just experienced with Masterfast? Who's willing to sever ties with people because they're too overburdened and too forceful on you to do the change? That's questions that come and then people just legs in the air, all limps away, can't do it, sorry, got to go back. And that's where, you know, like that's the ultimate question. That's why society, environment dictates outcome. And if you don't, that's the major, that's what I struggle. I know what the fast does. I know exactly what benefits and it's fantastic. But if then I have to face the truth in my environment, with my family, with my friendship, with my job, and I don't make changes there, how can you expect that you want to go follow the enlightenment? How do you want to do that?
Slow down.
Then you go back to corporate structure, when you go back to even in your sports club, how can you reconciliate that? That's really what it comes down to. That's where the biggest, that's the cause to me, the cause. Now think about if we had an environment, if we were brought up in an environment, an MFS environment, from the word go. Your parents brought me up in an environment. My whole neighborhood lived in that. That would trench me in that way. And because it would be from a health point of view, an environment that then would always see us if I get away from it, it makes me feel worse. But you know that human trait, what makes us feel worse is what draws, and what makes us feel better doesn't draw. It's always the opposite. The grass is always greener. So at the end, how can you go against all that? How can you change all that? And even if you're in the most perfect environment, it's the mind that then sets you on fire again, and it's the mind that you should drop. But that, remember, utopia, the place where there's no problems. Folks, it doesn't exist.
That grass is always greener. I don't remember the post, but
So,
somebody put, because the grass is fake. That's why.
So you've got artificial grass now. But that's where, like, and I got that utopia. I mean, utopia is, as I said, is so appealing because our whole society tries to go to utopia. That's why we can excuse, and that's why we forget about the environment. But what we do, or when we plunder the planet, then we can afford this, and everybody's happy, and everybody has no problems. But what are we going to do that? What are we doing to do that? The Amazon burning down. The Amazon getting rid. Everything else around it. I mean, I don't know. People say, oh, no, it's not. Well, then live that way and don't complain and live that way. But in real terms, we strive for utopia. Even doing MFS, we see utopia. Utopia is there. It sits there like, oh, I got to reach it. I got to reach it. You'll never reach utopia. There ain't no utopia. It's only you and the source. Source is where you got to get to. And that connection doesn't enlighten you, and from that moment on, all the princes come down and all the Rolls Royce rock up and everything else. No, it doesn't happen that way. It's a different connection. It's a different feel. And then you can see that the environment is so detrimental and so contradictory, completely opposite to what we actually then experience.
Exactly. And that's the challenge.
Yeah, and that's correct. And that's where you got to face that. And that's where you can only, I reinforce it by just keep going at it. Just keep going at it. Now, if it's 108 days, if it's 5 days, if it's 10 days, it doesn't matter. Just keep going at it.
Yeah.
Because that at least keeps you sane. I find sanity comes back. And when you're sane, you can then realize what is insane. Not saying what is right and what is wrong. Don't get me wrong. We can argue about that from pillar to post. What is right and what is wrong, and he's right and he's not wrong. But saying your sanity is what counts. And that's, remember, the backbone's got to grow within you. And that's what I do. I just keep chipping away on my bone. I just keep growing it and keep growing it and keep making it stronger. If it's right or wrong, I don't have to justify it to me, because it's right for me when I compare to source and when I go to source. And when you people, when you talk to people, when you know people looking at source, we have the same direction. Yes, you can take another way. Yes, you can do a little bit of this. Yes, you can do a bit of that. But the direction is there. The source is there. And that is all we got to do. But as I said, how hard is that in comparison to society? How infiltrated, how completely brainwashed are we all about it? And the more you understand that, the more you get frightened about it. Because you've got to make changes. Simple as that. Are you willing? No? Okay. Then just don't, like, you know, like that's where, how do you want to weigh that up? How do you want to, and it's only you. Yeah, we have beacons that we look at. We have idols. Like when I did sport, I had my idols. But then you reach level of your idols, and you know that they're not something special. They just kept going at it and kept going at it. And it's all possible. It's just a matter of how much devotion have you got, and then how much persistence and continuation can you put into it. That's why I don't run anymore. Well, I didn't continue, did I? But I reached a level of knowledge and I reached a level of satisfaction that allowed me to say, okay, I know what it is. But that's all life, and that's Master Fast too. You reach a level of knowledge and a level of satisfaction, and then you've got to move on in your life. You have to move on in your life. I have to move on, you see? And that's where then you can, and then when you see, hang on, I'm falling off here, I'm falling off. I'm not there anymore. Well, that's what I'm saying. So that's where, you know, like that's what I'm saying. Utopia doesn't exist. Yeah. You've got to make utopia every day for yourself and grow your wings, you know, grow your own wings. That's the only way you can get your utopia happening in your environment. You see, and that's where I honestly, I can only tell you, go and look back in Indigenous history. They've lived in utopia, but they lived in caves and they lived in open land, and they had a little bit of a bit of cotton around their genitals, and that's about all they did. But they live far closer to utopia than what we ever will, because we have gone so far away from utopia. But everybody tells you, the politicians tell you, and your work tells you, and the corporate and the medical facilities, we're all right there, we're close, we're one step to it. Well, Hitler said that too. Yeah? Like Napoleon said that too. It doesn't exist. And if you think you have to follow the masses to get there, that's completely wrong way. The masses will never reach utopia. You can only reach it yourself. And these circumstances and these sacrifices, when you do them, like You chip away on things. I did. I knew when I started rowing, the average Olympic rower was 25 years old. Well, I was 13. So I can't become an Olympic rower in 2 years, can I? I have to keep going on it. And they have rowed for at least 8 to 10 years before they get to Olympic Games. So once you know that, then you say, okay, you can be talented, which I wasn't. So you have to go and do it. Now, am I want to do this? Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to chip away at it and see this and see that. And then when success comes in, as we have in MFS, then it reinforces your way. This is the direction. That you then see other things and other this and other that. And the older you grow and maturity comes in and this and that. But then at least you have the direction. You're still going in the right direction. That's we know, and that we've got to reinforce. But folks, ain't no utopia. You got to find it yourself. It's got to be creative in yourself, and it only stays with you. You can't get utopia for somebody else. It's only for yourself. So make that non-problem place your own little kingdom. And that to reconciliate, we all struggle, mate. We all struggle big time in any way, form, or shape. So there you go. There's my little wing wisdom.
You know, you hit the nail on the head about when you start diving into this type of thing, you come to the realization profoundly of how disastrous what we're doing is. And that is a mirror of truth that a lot of people cannot handle. So they have to numb themselves out because they are part of this disastrous lifestyle, right? So it's a real eye-opener, mirror of truth that we come to learn to love and embrace and put our love and support in expressing it in field strength, because we're not going to do it with the physicality. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen with physicality. We're too far gone from nature, from the natural balance at this time, unless, you know, people have a profound wake up and things start changing. You know, it's not getting better every year.
Yeah,
It's not
starting
getting
with
better.
ourselves.
So we have to start with ourselves, because that's the only thing we can do anyway.
And it does make a huge change.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
You know, everything's possible. You know, even at the state we're in on this planet, everything could be turned around. There is a plan to bring it back to balance. And that's the beauty. And that's why we continue to keep going. Because otherwise, everybody's just saying, what the frick are we doing? Just give up. No, can't give up. We got to keep going. Got to keep going.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, but see, that's where you have to be, like, I mean, we all know you have to be the change you want to see. But it's not only, it goes further than that.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared to be then willing to participate in a change. Let me say, there will never come a change from our political system for our economic system, because we're all marching in a different direction. Right or wrong, again, we can discuss this until we grey hair, and I've got plenty of it. But it really comes down to what is your wish, and what has inspired you. And I think the opening up when you do MFS, and then learning to comprehend slowly but surely what is actually happening to you. And that's what I'm saying. If you march very fast, if you can comprehend very fast, that's great. We all at each end, I know when I say plateau, you can only comprehend so much for so long. And then you have to digest, you have to learn to, hang on, where do I deal this here? You know what I mean? Because it's too much. It's like when you learn a new trade. How can you learn a trade in 2 days? You know, I had to go 4 years, because you can't comprehend everything all the time. And then not only that, you have to implement it. And then you have that implementation has to then come back to you and grow into you. So it's that self-awareness, that self-strengthening, that self-reliance, all that stuff has to happen. That is duration that needs that. So people get impatient And then they try, you know, and we talked about instant gratification. But all that really is something that you remember, Miyamoto Musashi, the truth is not what you want it to be. It is what it is. And you have to learn to live, to bend to its power, or you live a lie. It's how many lies would you like to live? Really. The truth is not what you want it to be. It is what it is. And the truth is when you look in the light and look at source, and MFS brings that source, it does 100%. If somebody tells me that it doesn't, because you know why it does it? Because it feels uncomfortable. It feels very frightening at times. And that's the source, and that's the light that shines, if you really want to know that. And that's what you got to confront. But people live in darkness, in a hell of a lot of darkness. Oh my God, they do. And that's what I'm saying. So that is something that you have to just realize, and that has to be really brought in, that is the confrontation, the straightforward confrontation that you have, not to anybody else, but to yourself, within yourself. That's where you got to grow. That's where we all got to keep going on it, and just let it overwhelming and let it go. Let the emotions go through. Let all that stuff go through. And then you all of a sudden will find, I mean, that's what I did, that the physicality is great, yeah, because they actually, okay, yeah, well, a bit of neck here, a bit of this, a bit of that hurts. But it's really that continuous struggle that I feel and go through is on the emotional level, and how to reconciliate this. What do I have to change? I need to change. And let me say one thing. Climbing Mount Everest is not one big leap. It's one step at a time, one step at a time. But you need to step, and you need to get the direction right. You got to make sure because very easily, but even, look, I mean, after national service, we went for marches, 600 guys. If the commander in charge goes the wrong way in the forest, he's got 600 people behind him, they're going the wrong way. And let me tell you one thing, if they know that they have to go another 3 Ks back because we've gone the wrong way, there's a hell of uproar. There's a hell of denial when you're leading and you know I've gone the wrong way, to tell the rest behind you, holy shit, we've gone the wrong way, we got to go back. Oh, can't do that. Oh, okay, let's see what we can do. Let's see if there's another shortcut. Maybe we can do this, and then you get in all sorts of shit. Take the step backwards, go where you've missed the turn, and then turn into the right direction. That's the easiest way, always safest way, simple as that. As simple as that, because I've had that, 600 guys, and we just screaming and yelling, and we were supposed to be quiet, and nobody was quiet because we missed it's a 30, 50K walk. I mean, it's not just, like just a little walk down the park, and then you walk the wrong way. But that's a lot of times happens. And then you get the shits because you can't admit to yourself you've gone the wrong way.
Oh, yeah.
Turn around. Yeah,
take yourself away.
Anyway, so there's just little things that really make you just gotta, and then be pleasant. Just don't worry about things. Just let everything, because look, when we have pain, when people are in real pain, and I give it to them. But what else is going to heal you? A painkiller? A morphine injection? Is that going to do it? No, because you're going to the source. You're actually you're actually working on the cause. And when you walk on the cause, it is never the wrong way. It is never the wrong way. It's always the right way then. That's what I reassure myself. I'm doing the right way, because there's nothing else that can heal me better than nature. There's nothing better. Yes, you can symptomatic healing. There's many, many little tricky tricks. And the pharmaceutical company makes trillions of dollars with that to force you into symptomatic shit. But that doesn't get you to cause. Be honest. And that's why we're all sitting here. That's why you have so many discussions with friends when you know it's not the right way. And we've been misled. Remember? Now, is the government to admit that? Is the pharmaceutical company to admit that? Because if they would have to admit, how much compensation would they have to pay? Look at the vaccine call. Look at the vaccine complete disaster there is. They paid out $4 billion since 1986, and people, they say there's no problem, the science is settled. Why do they have to pay $4 billion? For people that died, kids that died? I'm just saying, right or wrong, It's not correct. And we don't admit. That admission is never there. Why? Because that's the way we brought up. It's the system. No, I can't say that. Like, I went to an uncle once, and he had a restaurant. He was a baker. We went to a restaurant, and on the way to the restaurant up on the hill, he drove over a cat, and he said, "Oh shit, I think that's the guy that we're going to visit's cat." But the cat was still moving, so he reversed and drove over and killed it 100%. So he said, "At least it doesn't suffer no more." You know what I mean? Like, just saying, what's right and what's wrong, I don't know. At least he put an end to it. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Simple as that.
HP, guys, I got to go because my battery's dying. I got to go anyway. But I love you all. Have a great week. See you in the group. Love you.
See you, Angie.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, that's just me saying, you know, knowing. It's hard. The hardest thing is to admit that you're wrong and then change. Isn't it? Like, how many times is it? Yes, when you're by yourself, you can do it. But when you know, if I got to justify it now against other people, against the environment, becomes very tricky, becomes very touchy, you know, like, and then all of a sudden the little lies come and the little this and the little that. Really can't. Not when you deal with source, because you can't. The source will always shine through. It will always show you it's not correct. And you know it yourself. You know. But admitting, very hard. Very hard. Simple as that. But we got to chip away on it. That's all it is. All good.
Awesome.
The floor is open to anybody else.
Yeah, we love to hear from everyone. How are you doing, Jeanette?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
Awesome.
I'm almost 5 weeks into my Masterclass lifestyle,
Nice.
level 3, and I don't think I could ever go back to eating like 5 or 6 or 7 days a week like I was doing before this lifestyle. The days that I eat, I'm pretty tired. Like, I can't really do what I want to do. The days that I fast, I feel really good. Jumping right back into the juice after 4 days of eating, it's so amazing. I'm still so amazed by what comes out of the body. Like, I know nobody cares anymore in our group so much, but I so care about what's being released. And I can only imagine what it's like to just keep digging deeper and like the relief you feel.
Amazing.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, I really love to hear about everyone's individual journey. I feel like this call is a great opportunity to share, like, on a personal level, what everybody's going through, if people feel comfortable, you know?
Yeah, so you're enjoying both fasting and eating?
I'm enjoying eating. Yeah, I got a bunch of persimmons.
Oh yeah.
And
Nice.
you find you're learning how to eat better with time, right? Like which food is better and easier on you.
Yes, like I should completely be mucusless, because the minute I start eating fat, it's like a nightmare. I just feel so tired.
Yeah.
Can't do anything, you know?
Yeah.
I like to dance. I like to swim. I like to do yoga. And I just love being able to get out and do those things. But when I'm eating, it's almost like I'm choosing to eat instead of live.
That's basically it.
That's good.
Yeah. This week I was like, oh, I'll eat my dinner and then I'll go to this dance that I like to go to every week. And I ate the dinner and then I was like, oh, I guess I'm just staying home now because I don't feel like moving. So yeah, it's a realization as we go, and like just having loving compassion and acceptance to where I'm at. And just like I watched some like home videos recently. I've been very connected to the other dimensions. Let's just put it that way. And I don't know, something just called me to like put in a home video of like my sister and I as babies, or like my parents filming themselves before there was even sound. It's actually a CD my sister made of like old VHS tapes that's labeled Mom and Dad Before Sound. And I watched their wedding. I saw like my grandparents, who I didn't really get to know because they died too early from dis-ease on the Italian side. And like, you know, I had some visits in dreams, and then I watched this, and it's just very clear that like I'm probably the only person in my family that's ever going to be willing to do the necessary work to change some of this, you know, these patterns, these ancestral like karmas and things like that. So, and watching them live, like just like drinking and smoking and eating constantly, like it's just so interesting what environment, as you say, Hans, like the environment, it just affects us so much. Just so interesting seeing what I was surrounded by as a child, and you know, not giving any blame, just kind of accepting that this is the family I chose to come here with so that I could learn some of these lessons. You know, I really believe in the soul contracts, and yeah, living different lifetimes and learning and growing, you know. So it's fun. Thanks for asking.
Yeah,
How are you doing? How's Rana? I want to hear about aren't you on a lifestyle, or you're on?
I shared earlier. Yeah, today is day 34. I mean, I keep track. I just like to keep track of things, you know, but not too much the number. It's at the end of the day, it's a lifestyle. So yeah, so eating 1 day a week, definitely enjoying it. You learn so much when you eat some days and fast other days. Um, of course, I love fasting more because of, you know, the lighter feeling, more energy, um, more productivity, all the good stuff, you know, more time, of course. Um, and when I eat, I do my best to eat as clean as possible. Um, and 1 day a week within 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours sometimes. And that's great because I found when I eat for a short period, it really helps. When I used to eat 1 day a week for like maybe 12 hours, that was much harder. Um, it was much more food, of course, and I think the body doesn't like it. It's just too much food for after 6 days of eating of fasting. So yeah, so it's working well. The day after I eat is usually a little bit, you know, harder, heavier, but not that bad. Yeah.
Well, I'm happy to hear that it's going so well for you, and that
Yeah,
you're finding your
it's
way.
easy now. After, you know, 3 weeks, I had to be gentle with myself, and I had to go through the changes, you know, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and then slowly, once you find your balance, it is good. It's a good place to be. At any level, in my opinion, at any level, find your balance, and then you want to go further. You know what to do. You have the information.
Those 8mm video cameras, my uncle had one when we were kids. No, with no sounds. So I still, somewhere we got those tapes still.
Aw.
I gotta get them converted. There's a lot of interesting stuff back then.
Yeah, no, I'd love to see you as a child. Oh my God. So cute, little Gino running around.
What you said, it's always about food.
Oh, it's just
Always.
crazy. And then like so many people in those videos are dead now. And so like the message is just so clear. It's like, wow, I can't behave like them. I have to be different. I have to change. I have to do all the things, you know, to live a good life. I want to live till past 100 and be perfectly healthy. I want that for all of us, if that's what you all want, you know, and then we just pass away in peace. That's like my biggest desire, is to just, you know, live a full life and then just no suffering. It's your time to go and you just go, you know? I know people don't like to talk about death so much, but I guess I lost a beloved friend recently, and it's been on my mind. And I didn't really have a lot of death in my life that I had to deal with. And then, you know, these people who have passed, it's kind of like, I wasn't super close with them, but now it's like they're coming through with the other realms and getting different messaging and stuff.
Yeah, sometimes it happens too fast. It's hard for us to imagine how is it possible that I was with them a month ago and now they're not here.
Yeah. It's very strange. And then there's so many emotions that you deal with, like, you know, from like, did I like contribute enough? Did I do my best? You know, different like guilt or shame or whatever these negative emotions that might arise because you have some sort of strange responsibility toward other people. Or, you know, obviously I'm talking about myself. These are the things I went through, but yeah, just loving acceptance is ultimately what you have to come back to, and realizing that like it's not me that's thinking this way, like it's the conditioning, it's the programming. It's like, what could I have done? You know, it's like you do your best in the moment and that's all you could do. And sometimes you do better than other times, but it's like you're slowly, hopefully, you know, if this is your intention, you're slowly becoming a better person, and each time you make a better choice.
Yeah, for sure.
More responsibility. I'm definitely taking more responsibility in my life finally, and just looking at like who I really am, and looking at the things that, you know, are not necessarily in my highest for my highest good, or like they're, you know, certain ethical conducts and things like that I'm really interested in working with. How's everyone else tonight? What's going on? Inga, you're there. Hi, Inga.
Hi everyone.
Hello.
How are you all? Anyway, I'm up anyway. I'm not sleeping. Just put my phone down. Can I share a bit?
You go ahead.
Very good. Thank you. As you have witnessed me over a couple of years, I see reality opposite. It's nothing wrong, just the way I am. And thanks to Master Fast, I was able to accept myself the way I am. And I'm not on a like full FFS or on any levels as you are, and it's beautiful, but that's me. I'm like a wind. One week I can eat more days, 1 week I can fast more days. That's why I wouldn't take any marks over anymore. And it's not because Master Fast is bad or good. It's a beautiful system. Anyone who wants, absolutely is there for. It's just me. I follow what I'm being guided, and I'm here to share. As you see, like, I don't have good, I don't have bad, I don't have past, I don't have future, I don't have days anymore. It just, I see myself, I would say, and what happens with me, I'm letting go completely attachment to anything. Like, I'm here and now. Like, I'm not gonna say 24/7, but mainly, absolutely, probably 90% a day now. And I know when I speak for so many, I trigger. And as I say, it was given to me when you trigger somebody or when somebody triggers you, it's time for you to tune in and let go that emotion. But it's so many, we're not ready, which is okay. But it's a beautiful tool when somebody does trigger you to tune in why that was brought up. Because see, we want all good. But when we look back, we had such a difficult times in life, each and every one of us. There is no exceptions. And only when we went through the difficult situations, we opened up. Because when we are all the time good, we are actually, we don't see other side. As I shared in my video there, we only want to see good, but life is just not good. It's both sides, and we separate ourselves from it. When we accept both sides, that's where is peace. That's where is balance. You know, it's not, we are where we are and we are who we are. You know, it's no judgment at all. And I sense myself, and I gave that little video and Gino approved and then was removed. I sense myself that night because it did little bit trigger me, but because, as I say, sense why that was triggered, it was like, I'm like an earthquake, you know, gentle. When earthquake comes and shakes, I shake humanity. I see that around, like in the presence where I am around everyone. But I see absolutely after time, it's amazing changes in them. I mean, they don't do anything just for me being me, not even knowing why I'm doing this. As I say, what I'm doing, I'm being guided, absolutely guided. I love everyone, every single being, but I don't follow anyone. And that's just the way I am. And that doesn't mean I love Yorana or Gino less, or like now Steve and anyone who I've been like over a year, like couple years, 2 years I'm here now. You know, although make gratitude to me, you know, to each and everyone, and view the challenges. That's what opens up you. That's where is a little key to yourself.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Elaine, how are you doing?
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm kind of in a rebound phase. I am not balanced at the moment. So I did 32 days full MFS and I realized that was too long. So then I swung the other way, which it was a bigger swing than I've ever experienced before. But I've been learning and watching and decided, okay, to love it and to make it as mucus free as possible, my eating. So gradually it's been going down and my eating window is shrinking. And so I'm going to do, starting on Monday, 7 days and then pick my level again. So for me, it's like just the swings. I want them to balance out. But I struggle. I struggle with that, with obsessing with food.
You know, Ellen, give yourself 3 weeks
Okay.
of doing one of the levels.
Okay.
And just understand that it's going to be challenging. So you have to understand this before you start.
It starts with big swings and then it gets, into a nice mellow dance.
So just, it's okay. Don't give up. Even if you do mistakes, don't give up, or do things that you don't want to do. Don't give up. Keep going. Be gentle. It's all about self-love, right?
Yeah.
So be gentle and just keep going. Don't give up. Keep going. Give it 3 weeks of doing your best. You don't have to be perfect. And then after 3 weeks, I am sure you will find it much easier. It's always the beginning that's hard for us. I mean, I've done this many times, right? Fasting and eating and fasting. It's hard. I know, but you have to get used to it and balance. Find your balance with it, and slowly. What level are you thinking?
I was attempting level 3 every week for the past 6 weeks and didn't make it.
That's okay. Yeah, be gentle, be loving. We don't want to be hard on ourselves. Totally fine. Eat your favorite food, and I'm sure that's not a pizza. I am sure. When you go down, it's natural food, right?
Yeah.
Now and ask yourself, what is my favorite food? Even if it's you want lentil soup with vegetables, do that. Yes, it's a little bit obstructive, but it's still great food.
Yeah.
If you want whatever quinoa, so maybe eat that a little bit at the beginning. Eat your fruits and then eat the vegetables and maybe quinoa or lentils, which are a little bit heavier. And until slowly, gently you go into lighter food if that's what you want, and fasting.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally fine. Just remember the first 3 weeks are challenging for every single person.
Mm-hmm.
It's complete fasting, full master fast, or it's fasting and eating, or any lifestyle change. It's always challenging. So just be prepared that, okay, I gotta be patient with myself. I can't be hard on myself. Yeah. And if my mind goes out of whack, it is normal. Just maybe calm it down.
Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Stay
Mhm.
connected with us as much as you can. I know it's hard, but if you can, on Facebook regularly, make a post and keep updating it, just so we are inspiring each other. And you're here. Do your best to be here with us.
I tend to not want to share if I'm struggling, and I only want to share when I'm like being successful with fasting.
Yeah, but like you can say, okay, today was a little bit challenging. You don't have to talk too much about it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I share now on my post, I say living it and loving it. Like really, there's nothing much to say. It's the same thing. But at least I'm updating myself, I'm updating others that I'm still here. And there's like, you don't have to share too much, but just let us know that you're good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll do that.
Even the challenges, it's all part of the journey, right? It's all good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't want to go create too much into the challenges because it's just there to teach us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Challenges are always there.
They help us grow.
We grow together. When we challenge each other, we grow together. We open up each other.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful, Elaine, you did share your challenges, because when these challenges comes and you're allowed to share them, you will see how they're going to change you energetically. And you will notice it's going to be more gentle, more gentle, more gentle.
Mm.
I went all through that, and beautiful. It's just so beautiful after that to see. When actually we struggle, it's the most magical thing. I know it's not easy, but it's the most magical thing actually.
Once we come out of it, yeah, you can see, wow, there's growth.
Yeah, that's great.
It's tough when we're in there, but you know, they get the valleys and the mountains, and it's the cycles of life. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, yeah. We don't want to give up.
As as we become, as we master our journeys, we'll see less and less of the downs. But are they gonna ever go away completely? In this realm, I don't know. Is it possible? Maybe it probably is, because everything is possible. But in this time frame, there's valleys. So let's learn to embrace them as well, because we always come out stronger. Always, always, always come out stronger from those challenging valley experiences. So
you know what you want and what you don't want. Slowly you will know better. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. You guys are all so amazing. So amazing.
So are you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome, when people share. This is the whole thing, because okay,
we're not alone.
The only one blabbing. I've been blabbing for almost 5 years.
It's good to hear from everyone. How is How is Luciana? How are you doing?
Yeah, well, now that I'm hearing you telling about like struggling when you're eating, I did 40 days full master fast, and then I'm now in the third week, finishing the third week of doing level 3 again. And I'm feeling very tired. And I guess it's because, I didn't realize that maybe it's because eating. And I was also feeling a little guilty that was not eating bad, I'm eating basically fruits. But I do crave some miso. So I was having some miso, and every time I had this little bit of miso, I was like, oh, I should not be having that.
How do you feel after you have it?
Yeah, tired. And I really love tomatoes, and so I ate lots of tomatoes. And we do have fruits here in our garden, like papaya.
Yeah, one trick is to eat maybe within 3 hours a day, not more than that, to help you. So you're not eating all day, and this way you feel more in control.
Yeah, I'm gonna try that. Yeah, definitely. What I would like to ask you guys is because I've been researching and looking forward to do fast for more than a year. Did some attempts, and then in late September I started the master fast. But not because of health issues. I mean, I was feeling a little inflamed and it was more emotional, like very irritable, and everything released a lot since the very beginning of the fast. But then I told Gino, I wrote to Gino, but I didn't share yet in the page. But in the last week of this 40 days, I find out I went to do some exams that I haven't done for years, and I did this mammogram, because it was October and the month of the breast cancer, and my mom she's 82 and she's passing through now. She did a surgery and she's doing radiotherapy, and my grandmother had, and my aunts had, and all that. And I'm 46, so I said, okay, should do this exam. And then I found something, and I was like, what? First time in my life I got some news of some sickness. But then I wrote to Gino, and Gino was telling me what he will do, like give him back the exam to. But I did went back to the mastologist just to check if I wasn't going to do any kind of biopsy. But he also thought it was not so urgent now, and he gave me like, okay, in 6 months you do another one and see. So I was like, okay, maybe I won't do in 6 months, but I do want to do something and go deeper in this healing. So I think my question is, should I understood when you said about like not going, I felt like when I did 40 days, I felt I could go further in the master fast. But then I understood that was important to learn how to go in and out. So I did that. I'm doing that. But because of the situation, because I do feel I don't have a tumor. What they found was just this concentration of calcification that might indicate maybe perhaps. But I do feel some, I don't know the name in English, when you feel like a needle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cyst.
I feel this sometimes, and I'm like, And my kidneys are not. I notice, and I've noticed in the past this, like this cloud
The
in
filtration.
the filtration, but not during the fast. Really, I see things, but not really. So I don't know. Should I? And also, Gina commented, because I'm using the 6 herbs only, but I'm short on herbs. So maybe I should increase herbs and maybe doing more like again 40 days. What do you think?
Yeah, when you're emotionally ready, you can jump into another long digestive vacation.
Yeah.
You know, if you're able, if you're handling the one of the levels in between now, and you're okay with that, and you're emotionally ready to do another digestive vacation, jump in. You know, do another 40 days, and then take another break, and then do another 40 days as often as you can emotionally handle. That's what it's all about. You know, somebody can do 108 days, but what's going to happen after? Most people have showed us they can't handle it. So that's why master the fasting and eating over and over and over and over again.
I would
because that's the lifestyle.
What I would do is I would increase the level of fasting. I would not do another a long fast. Why? Because I don't have to. You know, I'm not scared of dying if somebody tells me I have a tumor. It's a lifestyle. So maybe do level 5. You know, but you have to be. You know, you have to want it as well. You know, if you're saying you don't like the way you feel heaviness when you're eating, maybe do more fasting days, right? And when you eat intermittent fasting days,
Yeah, the fear kills people faster than anything, right?
yeah, honestly, like the people who come here with sickness news, they don't do it because they go for an event.
They've embraced the sickness.
Yeah.
They've embraced it.
They're afraid.
Full on.
They do.
I got this. I got that. Blah blah blah.
They do the fast, and then after, it's not an event. It's not because of the breast. Don't do it for the breast. Do it. Okay, this is maybe something that helps you get more motivated, but nothing negative.
You either understand living the lifestyle, moving into a place of what we call peace, balance, and correct conduct, moving into that space of how you want to be and leave where you were behind. That's what it's about. The eventing thing doesn't work. Yeah, you're going to have a transformation, blah, blah, blah. And then what? So you got to come to that place of understanding that, you love the lifestyle of eating and fasting.
And you'll start seeing results. And kidney filtration, don't worry about it. Okay. It's good to understand, but
yeah, just keep supporting, using the tools. You mentioned you having the filtering when you're eating and when you're fasting. No, is that what you said?
No, I have had in the past, so I know what it's about. But I don't remember when, and what I was doing. but it's something that I know that exists. I mean, I've seen, my,
Yeah,
but
like
during the master fast, I was not that I was expecting, but I was, because of this situation, I was thinking, oh, maybe I should use more herbs or doing longer dry fast to speed up this. I don't know.
Yeah, according to your level, choose the kit of herbs, and maybe do lymph nodes because it's probably a swollen lymph node, right? So maybe do lymph nodes. Yeah, yeah. So, but according to your level, choose your herbs because you want more support when you do more fasting. The more fasting, the more support we want.
What about having, because I bought my herbs when I went to Toronto this summer, but I'm not sure I can get the post. Maybe I try, but I think it's like,
we can ship anywhere. I don't know how customs is down there. No idea.
yeah, right? Let's try.
Right.
But maybe Graham's going now to Toronto in the end of the year, and he can bring me at the beginning of the year. But still, I live in a place with many indigenous people, and they, they call here in Brazil raizeiros, people who use herbs for everything. They know everything in this kind of biome where I am. And so I was wondering if I could also mix and have some support from their knowledge.
You can add them. You can add always. You can have also add it to your kidney tea. You can add all kinds of herbs that you have. Herbs are amazing.
Yeah, they do tinctures too, and some specific for. I mean, they know a lot, and I was thinking in adding because, as Gina told me, that maybe it's short because I have only the 6, and maybe it would take 2 months to get the more when Graham goes there. So I was thinking increase. And another thing I want to mention is like after I got this news and I was a little impacted and I had other things happening, had to leave the house I was living and I have to move, and I had those some relationship troubles and stuff. And one day I got my hands, I had an emotional breakthrough with a friend of mine. I was like crying and releasing, and after all this crying, I passed this nervousness. I don't know if you say that in English, but the thing is that scared me, and maybe it's very normal, but I had my hands like that, and they were hard, and I couldn't open. It was like, and I started to be like afraid. It's like I was telling my friend, like, oh, I can't move my hands, and my fingers were all like that, completely stuck. And then after I did some breathing, full moon, and I went outside. I was putting my feet on the ground and breathing, and then slowly released. But it was kind of like, and then of course, so I live in a community, and everybody starts to say, hey, you have to stop this fasting. It's because you don't have this, you don't have that. Yeah. And I said, no, I'm okay.
So
Can I share a bit? I had that same what Luciana tells.
yeah, cramps are what's happening. The body's trying to move something out. That's all it is.
Energy. Yeah.
It's a blocked energy, and it's just trying to move it out. And the more cramping you have, the more blockages of energy. So you got to just work with it, and like you did, and just let it release. Yeah, everything's deficient. Deficiency is everything. We're all deficient in everything.
Yeah.
We're deficient in fasting. That's what we're deficient.
Actually today, out of like all the days, today, I had cramps. I was, cleaning, I'm so moving around, and then I feel my feet are cramping, and it's really bad. I'm like, I haven't had this in a very long time. But then maybe an hour after, I go to the bathroom and I had a lot of bile come out, and it was so stinky, and also a mucoid plaque. I didn't do my washing my colon this morning. I didn't wash it. I washed it after, I did it later than usual. But after I washed it, there was like, right now I have 0 cramps. It's just when I had a lot to release, you know, after the cramp.
Yeah, cramps are a deficiency according to the whole planet. I've seen the opposite.
Toxins, yeah.
Bring in obstructions in the body, your cramping goes up. And then there's certain things that will suppress that, you know. Take your magnesium and potassium and all that. Yeah, it gets suppressed, your cramps go away. Did it solve the problem? Absolutely not. Because going along fast, and you go through these cramping things, weeks and weeks and weeks, and they just disappear and they don't come back with nothing. So who's correct? I don't know. Believe whatever you like, but the answers are in plain sight for me. There's no such thing as deficiencies except fasting. The deficiency is connecting to soul. That's the deficiency.
So this happened.
Trusting.
So this happened during your fast?
Yeah, the last few days, and then I stayed more. I thought it was like maybe the third, the 50th day, if you say like that.
Yeah. Next time, observe. You know, observe on what comes what comes out of you after this cramp, and I'm sure you will be interested.
It doesn't matter. Just do more enemas and use the tools. Yeah. That's all. Use the tools to pull you through. And it always does. How long is it going to take? It doesn't matter. As long as it takes. And if it gets too overwhelming, we break the fast and take a little break. No big deal. But I can write a book of all the things that I've been through and healing reactions. It's just part of the lifestyle. It's part of healing, part of letting go, and it continues as we continue down the journey. It's all wonderful. We just embrace it. You start talking to people, you're just gonna get confused and get into the fear state and all kinds of things because people don't have a clue of fasting lifestyle. They don't have a clue. They've never done it. They don't understand it. And most people who have done short bursts of fast, they still don't have a clue. They're even more clueless because they go into the fear mode because they listen to all the stuff that's happening out there. There's very, very few people who understand fasting out there that I've interacted with. Very few.
Thank God we're learning from each other,
and
supporting each other.
I was just one to, be stubborn and seen that light, from reading Arnold Ehret's book and saying, it's very clear if you experience it and you read his book, he was on the track. He understood. Very few people understand that book when they read it. It took me decades to understand things in that book, and we've expanded beyond what he did. He was probably murdered from my feeling, but
he taught us so much.
He was a challenge to the pharmaceuticals way back then, pharmaceutical cartel, and they took him out. Is what my feeling is. So, today's day we're dealing with way more obstructions than he had to deal with back then. Way more unnatural things. He was not complaining, talking about how people were expelling drugs, that they've taken, decades before and so on back then in the early 1900s. So you can imagine what people are loaded with today. These are all connected with emotions because there's always emotions attached. Whatever you do in physicality, there's emotion attached. And that's really the seed of everything, of our imbalances here. So we work with the journey continuously, and we keep going, and don't worry about it. These tests like that when I'm gone, most people get into that fear mode, completely embrace the diagnosis, and the outcome is not good. It's not good.
Yeah.
Most of the time, for most people, it's horrific deaths, horrific. The ones who make it through, the small percentages, it's only because of their strong desire, intent, and emotion to live and believe in what they're doing wholeheartedly, and that's the ones that make it through. And it's a very small percentage because of the bombardment of what they're doing is so awful. There's no other way to make it through that stuff. It's not what they're doing that's helping you. It's just a disaster, everything they're doing to you. It's complete abomination and bombardment to the body.
It's good that Luciana, you did the massive fast before you got this diagnosis. This way, this way you're not. I guess you know a little bit about it. You're not just doing it as an event, which many cancer patients who come to the massive fast, they take it as an event and it doesn't go well because it's not an event, it's a lifestyle. You really have to change, for good.
Yeah, if you're ready, do 108 days and then don't go back to 7 days a week, 6 days a week, go back to 1 or 2 days a week eating at the most after that. If you're ready for 108 days, if you believe you're 100% ready to embrace, letting go of all those days of eating, 108 days is for you.
Or you know what? Just do.
Start now.
5 days a week of massive fast, or 6 days a week. Or,
it's all up to you. There's so many variations.
Yeah, you know better. You know the best.
Long, deep fasts are wonderful because you get such a deep, thorough cleaning. In all levels, physical, mental, emotional, you get a thorough, very good cleaning in 108 days. But it's only
I just love it to do the dry fasts, and I was surprised that's easy. I'm not saying that, but I was surprised at that how happy and light and energetic and easy go. Like I passed through some situations that normally some people that I have problems to solve, and I could notice like my heart beat faster, and my brain breathing, how do you say that, breathing like faster, but I didn't have this discharge of adrenaline, or I don't know what, like normally makes me start to blah and talk a lot. It's just like I observed that, and I could manage many difficult situations, and then they developed in a completely new and different and much better way.
Did you do the monthly 3-day? Were you able to do 3 days?
I didn't do 3 days, no. I did like maximum, how much? 60 hours.
Yeah, that's good. That's up there.
Very good. Expand it. Semi-dry.
I was a little concerned about not having the herbs supportive enough, but I think I can do, right? I still have some. It won't last long though. Maybe 1 more month. And I'm taking every day. That's it. Maybe I should read again, because I don't know, when we are eating, I'm taking twice a day also.
You don't have
I don't, right?
Not when you're eating.
When you're eating, I put my money on herbs on the fasting days mostly. Like you can do it sporadically when you're eating, but I wouldn't put the focus there because obstructing eating and healing do not belong in the same senses, so put your time and energy on the fasting days. That's where you're going to get the results. Eating and taking herbs, you're going to get some results up to a point, and then there's a plateau, and you can keep taking them and taking them and taking them, and you won't see any more difference. That's my experience with herbs, with many people over all these years. Herbs shine when you're fasting. That's what they're here for, to help us open up stagnation. That's block stagnation, first foremost in the emotion, mental, and then in the physical.
You can take the kidney tea when you're eating, but keep the herbs, the tinctures when you're fasting. Just to keep them. Because
thank you so much for this.
Yeah.
Just load up on all the different herbs in your areas. Just get lots of herbs and
put them in your tea.
And use them when you're fasting. Just load up on a lot of herbs. Don't be afraid of herbs. Our last Sector 12 has over 150 different herbs in it. In that kit. It's a lot of herbs. A lot of different herbs. And every single herb on this planet is amazing and wonderful.
Yeah.
And we love these highly elevated beings. They're amazing. They're just beautiful beings here to help us, and they ask for nothing in return. So
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
let go of all that stuff. And that's what I would do. Let it all go. And create the reality you want. Embrace it and create it. And just let the physicality do what it has to do. And we call this the slow motion realm because it takes what it takes, and that's okay.
Yeah, I really like after a few days of this diagnosis, I was really taking it as a blessing, actually, you know, like an opportunity to really face reality and like how things can be, how as fear can get materialized in the body, right?
Yeah.
And I think as a shadow, I have to face the fear for many I don't know, for many things that I have, feeling aloneness, or I don't know, some dangers or some fear of many fears that we have, right? That was an opportunity. And the other thing I think was beautiful that you mentioned tonight is like about this taking the time to take care. I didn't have before my 4 years ago. I was working a lot, living in São Paulo, which is a huge city, very crowded. So I didn't have time. I just ate like fast things, and yeah. And now this time of doing my daily enemas is like really self-caring, self-love. It's beautiful. I really enjoy this time being alone and taking care of myself. It's really beautiful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Embrace it, love it, live it, love it. You know, this is what it is. Don't let these people that give you a diagnosis. You got to remember, for them to pick up and be able to diagnose somebody with whatever it is, there's decades behind it for them to be able to diagnose it. It's the seed has been established decades ago, so you have to work really hard to bring it forth so they can diagnose it. And this is where few people understand. You know, oh, all of a sudden you get cancer. No, you've been working on it really hard for decades. You know, I'm just giving you an example. Yeah, so
it happens already.
It doesn't, you know what I mean? So to change all that, all that hard time and effort that you put in to get to that state, how long do you think it's going to take to get rid of that? You got to put this time and effort and energy to let that all go and move and choose to live in peace, balance, correct conduct. None of that stuff will matter anymore because the body will correct itself. It will. Every time. We've seen it thousands of times. It does, because the soul works in autopilot when you go into the digestive vacations. There's no other simplified way that we can explain it, because the who, what, where, when, why, and all the intricacies and dissecting and how it all works, it doesn't matter. And we'll never find out. We'll never find out. Soul's working in autopilot. How much more simple can we make it? Trust, trust, trust. And it always comes through. Always. You know, for a few of us, it'll be time to jump the fence, leave the body, and that's okay. But you know, we'll be jumping the fence in a beautiful, pleasant fashion and not being bombarded, burnt to death, and butchered, and all that stuff. But everybody has to make that choice for themselves. You know, I can't make that choice for anybody else. If that's the way people want to go, you know, we can go that way. It's okay.
Suzanne, I want to ask you, Suzanne, right? I want to ask you, how are you doing?
Well, today I had a great day.
Amazing.
Yes, I've had a lot of challenges as well this week. But the good times really make up for it. I mean, today was just a blessing, and I've been really focusing on meditating as well as the fasting and trying to get out of my head. And something clicked today. I was doing meditation, and something clicked, and I was in a different place, a whole different place. I'm doing, as far as the eating goes, I'm on the level 2.
Beautiful.
And I'm doing like 10 liters of enema in the morning and in the evening, because stuff just keeps coming. And I was doing actually three different sessions of enema. I bought a Kalima board, and it doesn't fit in my bathroom, so
Oh,
I know.
you can.
Steve's been talking to me. He's like, get someone in there and push that wall out and do it, you know.
Or, and another way is outside in a pail or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I thought about bringing it down in the basement.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, just I don't know. I've thought of a lot of ways to do it, but yeah, it's still sitting there. I haven't got rid of it yet. I mean, I'm just hopeful. It's, you know, I don't know. I'm trying to decide what to do, because I know things would go a lot easier if I had it.
Yeah, it's much nicer to do that
Much
versus the
nicer.
animals.
But for now, the enemas are, I mean, I spend a lot of time doing enemas. But whatever it takes, right?
Yeah, one day at a time. Just embrace it and love it. You know, like you said, you know, it's so nice when you come out of those ruts or whatever, because
Right.
it's just wow.
Yeah, I just had a beautiful day today, and I just was like, oh, this is awesome.
Are you also washing when you're eating, on your eating days?
Yes.
And how is your eating? Is it good?
It's good. I mean, I've been challenged eating, and I eat just to get it done because I know I'm supposed to, and I eat a lot of fruit because I need to slow it down. That's why, you know, I'm following exactly what Gina was asked me to do, and it's working.
Yeah.
But I just dread that. I have dreaded. Today I ate, and it was fine. I had a whole different attitude.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, I just had a whole different attitude, and I just thought, no, you just do it, enjoy it, and it'll work out. And yeah, today was just so beautiful. But yeah, I do it within a 3-hour window usually, and I'm grateful when I'm done eating. Usually. But today I did enjoy it. I had mangoes, just some little yellow mangoes, and I actually had some zucchini simmered in some broth that I had made about a week ago, and it was delicious, and I really enjoyed it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's coming along. And it's all worth the beautiful days. You know.
And are you doing a drive? Sorry.
Pardon?
Are you doing a dry fast as well? Like
Yeah, I do the level 2, so I do 1 day of juice. I mean, of celery juice, and then without eating, and then I do the dry fast. And sometimes I actually do the next day as not eating too.
So you.
And I don't. So I'm kind of going to the other level 3. It turns out to be about every other week.
Yeah. Okay.
Some weeks I just think, ooh, I want to step it up a little, and then other weeks I go, I can't. This is as I can do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And you're doing a celery juice?
I'm doing celery juice. I bought some wheatgrass powder recently because the celery juice has been so bitter lately. It's not very good celery anymore. and I can't gag it down. Um, but yeah, is that okay? Celery juice is okay, isn't it, for the green?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're having like the master fast, the juice, and the herbs and everything, and then you have
Yeah, I've actually, and you guys were just talking about this, using the herbs when I'm eating, and I actually have been doing that. So maybe I'll taper that off some.
Like I
But
said, you can, but I wouldn't do it consistently all the time
okay,
when you're eating.
okay, yeah. Well, that will save me some money, so
Yeah,
that'll
exactly.
be fine. Yeah, I'll be just fine. But yeah, I do just the celery juice even on my eating days. I'll do celery juice all morning until about noon, sometimes 1, and then I'll have my meal, and then I'm done eating for the day. I'll still drink more celery juice, but I'm done eating, and then I do my other enema around 5, and that's been, boy, just stuff just keeps coming out. My gosh, and tons of mucus. Oh, and I'm just like, yes. Yes, it's working. And so the celery juice is still working for me, which is awesome.
Yeah.
You know, because I was afraid. I thought, well, I don't want to not do the juice. I love that feeling of the juice and the lemon, the grape juice. But I totally understand what Gina was saying, that I was just going too fast, too much. There was just too much.
Yeah, maybe throw in a grape juice day here and there. Every other week or something. See how it feels.
Yeah, well, you know what? Every once in a while, I'll do about an 8-ounce glass, just because, oh, it's so good, and it perks me up a little more so than the celery juice, And so I'll just do that a little bit of that
Yeah, and expand on that, right? Until you can just
until I can
yeah,
increase it more.
yeah, until you can do a whole day on just the juice, and let go of the green juice for a bit and see how you feel. Just you have to
Yeah,
play with it little at a time, and
yeah.
that's the way we do it.
I'm just so surprised. I mean, I'm delighted and surprised how much I'm getting out with the celery juice too. Um, and the dry fasting is just a miracle. I mean,
Yeah.
whoa,
Yeah.
it is. It's just a miracle. I'm just so, and I sometimes want to push that, and I'll talk to Steve, and he'll say, Gino's going to save 24 hours. But I did do 36 over the full moon, and I did okay.
Okay. Well, once a month, go for the 3 days.
Right. Yeah, I pushed it a little hard, and then this time I kind of wanted to, and I was talking to Steve, but I was struggling. I was really struggling. He says, "Well, you know what Gino would say? He would say 24." I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
So, and I thought, yeah, you're right.
Just save it for that once a month to go over 24.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I'm living it and loving it. Like I said, I forget about the bad days when I have such a wonderful day. I do.
It's tough for some people that have gone through long digestive master fast vacations and
Uh-huh.
haven't had the huge challenges. They just cannot comprehend what you're going through, right? They just don't have
Right.
understanding.
Right.
So it's this is why we all have to find our level, and the best way is for people to move into it slowly and surely and start expanding on that, and then you come to a better understanding of how the body can respond, and it's not a big shock.
Right.
That's it.
But yeah, I mean the anxiety is kind of, it's I just have some real struggles with that, but I'm learning, and it's a spiritual journey too.
Oh, yeah.
It really is. It's like, okay, bring it on. Let me just take it in,
Yeah.
listen, and let it go.
The heart mudra.
Yeah.
Whenever you have anxiety, use some acupressure points.
Okay.
And just breathe. There's the Buteyko breathing for when you have some anxiety or panic attacks.
Mm-hmm.
There's a video, you can punch that in, you'll find that.
I have watched those and done that quite a bit. Yeah.
Great.
Keep
Yeah.
practicing.
And
Yeah.
just keep practicing it. Keep
Yeah.
practicing
I'm getting better at it. It's funny. At first I was like, oh, this isn't working.
it.
Panic. But the more I did it, the more I just relaxed into it. I just thought,
Patience.
oh, it is.
Yeah.
It's working. It is.
Be conscious and be a nose breather, right? Always.
And I thought I was a nose breather, but I realized I'm not as much, especially if I'm doing, like I'll go for a walk with my dogs and I realize you're breathing through your mouth right now.
Yep.
Whoa. So I'm more conscious of what I'm doing.
Put a piece of tape. Seriously, put a little piece of tape.
Good
You're
idea.
going out for walks, and just so you can pick up on when you're trying to breathe through your mouth unconsciously.
Right. Yeah.
Can't talk.
And the more you catch yourself, the less you'll do it, and you'll stay with nasal breathing.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. It might look funny, people walking
Yeah,
past me.
who cares?
Well,
But even the people are doing that in their sleep. Just put a piece of tape. Just a small little piece, because if you have to vomit or whatever, you want to be able to get it out.
Oh, I see. I don't know. I don't have any idea whether I breathe at night. I don't.
Yeah.
There's no one around to tell me, so my dogs don't complain. So.
Yeah.
So I don't know. So that's a good point.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Angelica, I was just gonna ask you. So yeah. So you're busy doing your kolima. So you'll share with us next time. Yeah, that's awesome. So everybody's doing great. Yeah.
So okay. Does anybody else want to share? Is there Sarah or Rose, or we can close her up? David's here. How you doing, David? I know you can't speak. Just give us a quick up. How you doing? If you like. And it's been awesome as always.
Yeah.
We keep
David.
charging our batteries every week.
David.
Doing great in level 3, still struggling to keep clean though, and looking forward to another long MFS in January. Yeah, those are the best times. we love the feeling. The more I eat, the more I want. So addicting. Going to level 4 after the next long MFS. Awesome. I feel so much better fast. It's a lifestyle. Thanks for all the support. Awesome, David. Thank you for letting us know and staying connected. You've been here for a while. It's awesome to have everybody continue to support. And we keep going. That's all we do, live it, love it. Find your balance, find how you can make it work for you. Everybody's going to be different.
Yeah, thank you, Sarah, for updating us. Yeah, sure. Yeah, next week would be great. Euros would be nice to hear from you.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
So I woke up yesterday feeling all clogged up, swollen lymph nodes.
How's the
Can you
tooth?
hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, the tooth's better. I actually used some, clove oil,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it helped immediately, right? It works like a charm.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely gonna do something about the tooth. But the interesting thing is the day after, with my toothache, I woke up with swollen lymph nodes on my neck, and it was the 11th day since the full moon. So anyway, I thought it was the excellent time to fast. So I did about 48 hours full MFS, and I actually just broke it with some apples and persimmons. And yeah, and I don't know, it's going really great since I'm at my own place now. And yeah.
So do you have any plans? How do you see yourself?
Yeah, I'm always thinking about fasting, but something is definitely holding me down. I don't can't put my finger on it right now, but I'm working night shifts, and I got this job at the customer care center. I just came back from work actually like an hour ago because we do night shifts, and it's because of the time difference. I work for U.S. and Canada actually, and it's like you enter like you put your brain in a microwave because all the all the frequencies from the telephones and all the computers and a lot of radiation.
Don't worry about that stuff. Live it and love it.
Yeah, I guess so. So since I got my own place, like everything is great. I'm so relaxed. I'm not having cravings. I'm like really enjoying myself. I'm not letting, toothache or something like that puts me into a, depressive state or something like that. So I'm all about living the lifestyle. And definitely, this group helps a lot. I mean, the amount of support I get from you guys, it's unbelievable. I mean, to a guy like me from the Balkans, it's like ridiculous because we are so like thick-skinned, We don't talk like that, and basically everybody in Serbia or Eastern Europe is a troll, basically. I mean, even me, I am more sensitive than others, but even I talk to my friends, you know, a lot different than you guys would talk to each other, if you know what I mean. And I'm definitely getting, used to it.
I call the old Italian Neanderthal thinking. You know what I mean? It's hard as a rock, man. You can't get through to them. So we have that too. Don't worry.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we all have it.
And actually, the Neanderthals had it right, man. They lived with the laws of nature. But anyway, yeah, I know what you mean. It's okay. It is what it is.
Masculine energy.
Yeah, I guess so. Everybody from the Balkans is like that.
Yeah, once we have this understanding that emotions are going to come, they're going to go. We can't take things too personally. We just let things flow and elevate the souls and just allow things to unfold and so we can strengthen ourselves through the communication because you just look what's happening out there with emotions. It's just all over the place, and that's it's because this planet we've been living as a race is so imbalanced, and this stuff's going to come up. So what are you going to resist it? And you're going to create more imbalance. So we got to just work with it. Okay, somebody's having a freak out time, no big deal. It's going to pass. And then we can hug and kiss and make up and all is well, because this is the way it is. Like if you come to a dinner table with all of our family, it's loud. Somebody that not used to that, they're going, what the hell is this? You guys are crazy. So.
Yeah. And one more thing, I'm actually really having the hard time doing the tries because even before I had problems with low blood pressure, since my adrenals are just, ruined from the asthma medication.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Just
Sorry for the interrupt.
a bit obstructed. They just need to be cleaned out, be wrenched out. So work a little bit at a time. Even if you got to start with semi-dries, if just doing small amounts of liquids every hour.
Absolutely. I bought the licorice tincture from the local herbalist. Yeah, it works like a hack. It's a hack. Definitely, it's a hack. I mean, it just ups my blood pressure right away.
Yep. Lots of tools we got.
Another thing is wash your colon as much as you can. You know, it stops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have my enema right with me.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's a must.
How many liters do you do per day?
Well, when I did this MFS of 48 hours, I did about, I guess, 6 liters. I usually do more, but I was nauseated by the enemas for some
Wow.
reason.
Well, it shows us you're stirring stuff up. We need to get it out.
Yeah, and I did very few plasma pudding. I did maybe one spoon, one tablespoon of plasma pudding.
Yeah.
And I guess I didn't take enough because I was, today I was like, you know, butt pissing basically.
Diarrhea. Yeah, like diarrhea. Maybe have.
Yeah, diarrhea.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
have two instead of one.
Yeah.
Or
You know,
three.
just what you've been talking about, sharing your tooth, all this mucus, the diarrhea. There's a
Yeah.
lot of obstructions. Anything to do with teeth, stop eating. It's a no-brainer. Your body's saying, "What are you doing? I don't want to eat." And so it brings the pain. And depending on what tooth, just look at the Chinese meridian charts and see what that tooth's related to in the body. So
Yeah.
you have an obstruction in that area. So what?
And I'm sorry, I'm shutting down.
Hello? Hello? Lost the battery? Or? We lost him. Wait a minute, maybe he'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, teeth is a big problem in this generations that we have, more and more so. Stop
It's
eating.
amazing how they disappear after we live this lifestyle for like a year, 2 years, 3 years. If it comes back, we know what to do, right?
I had, I remember many years ago, we lost him, that I used to bite down on my teeth and I used to feel them move. They were so weak.
Yep, same here.
And what a difference once you start fasting and cleaning up. You know, and then I went on the high fat stunt and my teeth got destroyed. You know, so it's very interesting how the body works with putting different things of matter through the body. Environments dictate outcome. Plug up your environment, nothing's going to work properly. The field interactions, they don't get through clear, and the body starts going into severe imbalances. It's very simple. Clear it out, everything gets restored. It's oh well, I don't know if I'll be returning. Battery must have died.
He's on Facebook too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you know, she made a post about his tooth is cracked and it's completely rotted. Mucus runs, all signs of very backed up system, very backed up. And he's back. You're back. Unmute. I can unmute you. Hello?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sorry for that. I was having trouble with battery. You guys still here? Yeah.
Yeah.
You can hear me?
Yeah, continue.
I'm working on herbs and planning my MFS.
Very good.
So you want to do a long one?
About 30 days minimum.
Okay. Just know that it's gonna be.
Can you hear
challenging.
me?
Yes.
Yeah, just know that it's gonna be challenging breaking your fast. You know, it's a lifestyle. Remember, we want to give up a lot of our habits that don't serve us. So yeah, I mean, you know, you've been through it before. Yeah.
Listen to people's stories.
Well, actually, when I broke my first MFS, yeah, I was amazed by the craving salt in the hospital where I was, and they were giving me basically the pink slime, and I loved it. I mean, I enjoyed the taste. It's quite amazing that I did.
What's the food?
Pigs, what you said?
I'm sorry for that. The connection is very bad. It's the pink slime, like processed foods. I call it the pink slime.
Okay.
But it's basically, chicken legs and pig legs and bones and all other stuff just, blended together into a pink slime. And you give it a little bit of, rubber and and salt, and there you go, food.
You can add salt and oil to anything, and it's going to taste good. It's so addictive.
And protein.
Those are very, very addictive.
You know, the more obstructive the food, the more addictive it is. So of course your body wants more.
Yeah, definitely.
Very, very stimulating. The more obstructive, the more stimulating.
Yeah. And when you eat, it's very important. Do your best to do the intermittent fasting, which is like eating no more than 3 hours a day, because that makes a huge difference to the cravings. Yeah.
Actually, I do 2 meals a day, and I don't finish them within 3 hours. I find it easier for me to have like maybe a 6-hour period.
Yeah, if it works.
To eat twice a day, it really helps me. Yeah, 1 fruit meal and 1 cooked veggie meal, definitely.
Awesome. Whatever works.
But I'm eating starchless vegetables.
Good.
And there was something I was about to say, but I forgot.
Well, do you remember? Put it on the page.
Yeah, of course.
All right. So it's coming to 3 hours now, so might as well wrap it up. Thank you, everyone, for staying here and being part of this. It's awesome. And we'll see you next week. And
we'll
on the
love to see
page
you
in
again
between.
here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, I'll miss you next week. I'll be in England.
Oh,
Okay.
Awesome.
Bye, everyone. Good night.
Ciao, ciao.
Great night.
Good night,
Ciao.
everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night. Thank you.